Sabrina was my first girlfriend.
That's crazy.
She's killing it. She just performed at Coachella.
Did you guys go to Coachella?
No, I was too heartbroken.
Too heartbroken to show up.
I signed an autograph recently for someone who didn't know who I was. And I was like, what's my name? And they're like, just write it down. I'll figure it out.
I had like an intimate scene. When we fell onto the bed, she kneed me in the genitals.
Oh, gosh.
Okay.
And just went, and everybody started cracking up.
Is the goal so you do Disney and then you want to differentiate yourself?
Do you think that they're really picking those projects going, God, I just want to throw myself away from Disney. I don't want people to know. It's like, no, you go on the audition. If you book it, you book it. It is what it is.
We almost killed the stunt guy on set.
What?
We didn't almost kill
Did you
him.
go to the hospital after that?
Yeah.
No, he did the stunt after that.
We sat down with Disney Channel stars Bradley Stephen Perry and Jake Short, who you probably already know from the hit TV shows Good Luck Charlie and Ant Farm. After becoming best friends on the Disney show Mighty Med, they've both navigated their careers outside of Disney, but finding work as actors has proven harder than they originally thought. We talk about everything from falling in love with co-stars to filming intimate scenes on set and facing rejection in Hollywood. What's the tea on doing, hi, I'm blank, and you're watching Disney Channel?
It's a lot harder than people give credit to.
Wait, really?
Yeah, it's really hard.
Show us the art. Okay.
Well, there's a green screen Mickey Mouse cutout.
Yeah, in front of you. You're
Yeah.
on like a white screen.
Okay.
Yeah.
You have to trace it out, but you have to do it perfectly.
They have a cutout for you to do
They
it.
have a cutout that you aim a little like stick at, so that like little sparkly wand thing is a green screen stick, and then you.
But it's backwards, right? Because like the screen's flipped, so you're not doing it the way it looks on screen. That's why it's harder. Realistically,
You're
what you
right.
would be looking at is not the same as what would be coming across on camera.
That's so tricky. So,
So
it's
it
like,
takes a lot. You do a lot of them.
it takes a lot.
how many
I don't
takes.
think you guys understand
How
how
many
hard my
takes?
childhood was.
Enlighten us.
Probably 15.
Yeah, it was probably like 10
Is
or
it
15.
something that everyone got to do, or is it more? It's like an honor.
It's an honor. It
I don't know if
kind
it's
of
an
like
honor, but like it's not everybody.
It missed like 1 year. I know someone who did it like 3 times who was barely on the channel. I know someone who did it like once who was on it forever. Kind of strange. I think I did it once. You did it like
I only did it once.
yeah. You only did it. Oh, maybe you're the person that I know then. 'Cause
Probably.
I only did it once. I think Austin did it twice.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
I didn't get to do it. Twice.
Is that kind of like a badge of honor? It's like, guys, I got to do the Disney Channel
People
thing.
really love to say it at bars. It is the number one thing we get approached with. At like if it's 11 o'clock at night and you know the drinks are fun, people are like,
do the thing.
yeah, hey, look, oh wow.
Yeah, and then you gotta try to not be such a jerk to them and not be like, oh yeah, how about you leave? You know, like it takes a lot, but you gotta be like, yeah,
I did that.
good
oh.
one. The one I get all the time, and I don't know if you can relate to this, was people always be like, oh, good luck, Charlie.
Oh, yeah,
and you're
no,
like,
I-
oh god, yeah, that's the first time I heard that one. You know, you hear that all the time, and you're just like, please. Just come up with something new, at least. You know, you're just saying the name of the
But
show.
the thing is that every time that someone says that, it's the first time they're getting to say
Right.
it, and
it's
so,
new for them.
You know what
Yeah.
it is for me? My last name's Short, and I grew up, and everyone's like, "Oh, Short," but I was short, and they go, "Short, huh? Really match your last name?" And I'd be like, "Yeah, I guess so. That's a good one, man."
Yeah, come on.
That's the
Who
pizza
is
I ordered.
at our house?
Sorry,
You guys
I don't know if
mind.
it's
We just
okay
got
with
a
you guys.
package.
We did.
Oh, we gotta. Hey, should we go find out what it
Let's
is? No,
open
I'm
it
just
up
kidding.
on
Yeah,
camera.
and then the unboxing on the
Did you?
Unplanned podcast.
Wait, did you guys? I'm so sorry. Now I feel bad. Did you like hate me immediately when I was
No.
like, "What was it like doing the Disney
No,
Channel"?
because
Matt,
it's
cut
very
the part
important.
where we were going
Okay.
to ask them
Also-
to say "Good luck, Charlie" at the end.
It's
of the
better
Okay.
that you asked it so that everyone here that is watching knows
Yeah.
not to say that.
So stop telling them to do it.
at bars.
I had to go on this rant because people don't seem to understand my name at all. It's unbelievable how we just talked about this on our podcast. But so my name is Bradley Perry, right?
Okay.
And when I joined SAG, Screen Actors Guild, there was already a Bradley Perry. And so to join
That's
SAG, you
why.
have to have your own name. That's why there's like Michael B. Jordan, Joseph
Michael
Gordon
Murray.
Levitt. Yeah,
Why are
Chad
they all
Michael Murray.
Michaels?
I don't know. That is weird, actually.
Joseph Michael Levitt.
Yeah. But so anyway, so I had to put my middle name. But for some reason, people cannot comprehend that. So they think my name's either Bradley Stephen, they think my name's either just Stephen Perry, or just Bradley and my last name is Stephen-Perry. Nobody ever thinks perhaps it's just his middle name, but then it's like it becomes super formal and like I
Did
do
you say
have
Bradley
to put it.
Sperry already?
So you're here. Did I say it?
What?
What do you mean?
No, I wasn't
Did we
listening.
not
I was thinking
listen?
about my Fresca.
Yeah,
So
so
for a sec, it's been a long day.
Were you thinking about DMing Fresca after this to see
Yeah,
if you get
that's
some
all
free
you
Yeah,
think
Frescas?
absolutely. Yeah, I'm gonna talk.
people also think my last name is Sperry. because my Instagram name is Bradley S. Perry.
Oh.
So people think it's Sperry. And then I got an email the other day from this company that I was working with that said Bradley Sperry. And I had to be like, no, that's not me. And so then I had to go through this chain. But what was funny was I noticed when they changed like the heading, because the heading was Bradley Sperry. And then a few emails down, then it said Bradley Stephen Perry. Yeah.
That's funny. Also kind of embarrassing for them. Is that why people in Hollywood have some like more unique names?
No, I think that's in general just to like differentiate themselves, you know? I'm not going to lie to you. This might sound so dumb. I recently learned that Vin Diesel's not actually named Vin Diesel.
You're kidding.
Wow,
And
I can't believe I'm learning that for the first time.
What's
Wait,
his-
you're just learning that too?
I'm very disappointed that
I didn't know that.
I just heard that from
You didn't know? Okay, I feel so much less stupid.
What's Vin
I feel
Diesel's
very-
actual name?
I don't know what
It's
Vin
something
Diesel is.
like super dweeby. I hope Vin
Oh,
Diesel
guys,
never
I'm
hears
sorry.
me
It's
say
Vin
that.
Gasoline. I'm sorry about that one. I hate to break the news here, but
I
I
heard
gotta
that
go.
and I was like, yeah, that's so dumb that other people don't know that. But I was like, I could have sworn his
I
name.
have.
Mark Sinclair.
Oh,
Wow.
that's horrible.
Could you guys do the one name thing? Would you be a one name celebrity like Rihanna,
Like Cher.
Cher,
That's so sick.
Madonna?
Yeah, that's
I
cool.
will never ever be at that level.
You
I
got to
don't
be
think
so famous. That's a
Yeah.
different
Wait,
level
hold
of
on.
fame.
Matt.
Come on. Nobody else can take that from you.
That's pretty good.
Were you gonna ask a question?
I was gonna ask
You
a
breathed
question.
in. You forgot to ask questions in our last podcast, so I wanted to see if you had anything that you wanted to ask.
What you got?
I liked it a lot.
So y'all started your careers at a very young age.
Yes.
And I
Yes.
feel like people talk about child acting a lot nowadays. I probably always have, but we just watched Quiet on Set and like, did you guys
Oh, yeah.
see that documentary?
I still have not seen it. Have you seen
I
it?
didn't watch it. No.
No
Okay.
way.
It's a lot. It's very.
It's so sad.
It's very
Yeah.
sad.
It's
Yeah.
very sad. It was on the Nickelodeon side of things. Y'all are the Disney side of things. I guess like I'm curious, like, so you started at 9,
I technically started acting at 5.
at 5.
Yeah.
Wow. What was your first job?
Commercials.
Commercials.
Started that. I think that's kind of like how most. I don't know if it's the same anymore, but at the time, like most actors usually got in by acting. I'm doing commercials, and so I did a local car commercial in Thousand Oaks, California for GMC, and did that, and it was a non-union gig, and I just loved doing it. And I kind of compare it to like, you know, playing a sport and being like, this is the thing I want to do. And I just kind of told my mom I wanted to keep doing it. And she was like, no. And then I had to just kind of convince her that I wanted to do commercials. So we started slowly doing commercials. And then,
Hold on. Are you the one that got into commercials, or did your mom want you to do commercials?
no, my mom would only let me do commercials.
Okay, so you wanted to do it, and she was like, "All right, you."
Yeah,
can
I
do
just wanted to
commercials."
do it. And then it started off as commercials. And then I booked a bunch of commercials. And then she was like, all right, well, maybe you can try theatrical. So then we started slowly doing more like guest spot stuff. I think my first like TV gig was Without a Trace. I did this episode of Without a Trace.
How many
But being a
seasons?
kid and doing this though, did you ever do community theater or unpaid gigs before? Did you kind of go right into it?
Dude, I just started doing these commercials. And then by the time I would have done any kind of theater work or anything like that, I was already like full-time on a TV show. So I didn't really have like the time. I actually was thinking about this the other day when I was in New York. I was like, I'd love to do a play, but I have no like theater or any kind of live performance background like that, which is funny to say, having like worked on television as much as I did, but I just like the thought of being on a stage like that seems so different and scary to me, you know. But no, I didn't do any sort of. I think I played Charlie Brown in my 4th grade
Nice.
edition of Charlie Brown Thanksgiving. I did do that.
Jake, what about
that.
you? What was growing up doing acting like from your story?
I'm from Indiana, so I moved out to California when I was like 10, and the first commercial I ever did was for a roller skating dog.
What?
Yeah, I
was
was
the
the
dog like the dog had a
We've
commercial?
done
for
this. You know, we've done this before,
Have we?
right? Yes, we have.
I'm
The
actually genuinely confused.
The dog is on. It had roller skates attached to it, and it was like it had like, you know, the battery, the belly
Oh, okay.
battery. Turn it on, and it would go like this.
Yeah. I know what you're saying.
The product was,
It was
a roller
confusing.
skating.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Yes.
He made it
I'm
seem
like, I want to
Oh, I
meet
totally
this dog
did.
that can
That's-
roller
that's
skate.
So
what-
sorry.
that's
no,
why
it is a product for a roller skating dog. Yes.
Glad that wasn't just me.
Wait,
I-
okay,
yeah,
I'm
I
so
didn't
confused
explain that
now.
well.
So is this like a
It's a stuffed
robot
animal.
dog that it's like a stuffed animal that roller skates?
It's a stuffed animal dog that roller skates.
Can you
Yes.
believe
Okay.
how poorly you explained that?
I did it. I did a horrible job.
You just said I did a
was doing
commercial
it-
for a roller skating dog.
Yeah, which is actually impressive. If a real dog could roller skate.
But then
better
I
than the
thought,
skateboarding
for a
dog.
second, I thought you were saying it was like a device that you put on your dog to help them roller skate. I'm like, that's so cool.
That's what it sounded like
If I
too,
ever get
yeah.
a dog one
I
day,
know.
I want to buy
Incredible.
that.
I know.
I would buy that. That's the first thing I did. I really did a bad job of explaining that. But no, I did like the same thing. I did a bunch of commercials as a kid, but at the same time, I was auditioning for like theatrical and TVs, movies, everything. But I don't have an extensive theater background. I was recast in my 3rd grade play.
That's
No
brutal.
way.
Yeah.
I didn't even know they did recasting.
Yeah, and when I did like I
Like you
remember-
lost your role?
I lost my role. My family went
It's
on
just,
like
we're gonna go in a different direction.
a vacation for a long weekend, and I missed something on like a Monday or a Friday, and they were like, "Oh yeah, you're out."
Wow,
That's
There you go.
cutthroat.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
I mean,
know.
you got to think about it. If
They
you're
gave me
willing
like
to
2
go on a-
lines for a different role, but I was like a main role, and they were like, "Yeah, you're out of here."
Yeah, you're not committed to the work. You can't.
They
go on
gave it to
vacation.
Margaret. I don't know. She took it from me, man.
Did you have a moment where you decided that you wanted to do theater, or was it or acting in commercials? Was that something that you decided you wanted to do when you were a kid?
I just wanted to do anything, honestly, just in front of the camera. When people were like at that age, attention was really important to me. Because I got it from my family, and I was like, "This is awesome.
Yeah.
I can get it from everyone." I'm sure you know this. You have 2 kids; they love your attention. So I just fed off of that, and I think I'm sure you did too. It's like once you get the energy of like a set and people that are praising you for doing something that you think is fun, it's very addicting. So
I was saying the other day, I couldn't comprehend on the first commercial I did that I had a character name. So like my character's name was like Andrew. So the mom in the commercial had to come out and be like, "Andrew, it's time for dinner," and I'd be like, "Who's Andrew?" And they were like, "No, you're Andrew." And I'm like, "No, I'm Bradley." And they were like, "No, you're Andrew." To the point where they just went, "Okay, your name's Bradley." So they changed it in the
They changed
commercial.
the name? Cute.
I just picture myself sitting there going, "No, it's not."
You're like, I'm not playing these games.
Pretty sure my name's Bradley.
that's right. It's Bradley.
Yeah.
They've been calling me this for
Don't
5
talk
years.
down to me first off. I know my name. Thank you.
Cute.
Yeah. So I think I started to learn what a stage or a character name was around the age of 7.
When did you guys start getting noticed when you were kids? At what age did people start stopping you and wanting a selfie or an autograph? Was it selfies, by the way, or were autographs the thing back in the day? Like,
I think
what would people ask you for if they saw you in public?
They would do. I guess we were like in the infancy of selfies. That was like 12 years ago or something.
I don't think there was selfies, but definitely photos.
autographs, but definitely photos. Yeah,
I couldn't tell you the last time I signed an autograph. Honestly,
an autograph.
People
I signed-
don't ask for them.
I signed an autograph recently for someone who didn't know who I was. They were like, "What are you doing here?" And I was like, "I'm just with this event." And they were like, "Oh, you're with the event?" You're like, "Can you sign this?" And I was like, "What's my name?" And they're like, "Yeah, just write it down there. I'll figure it out." Like, all right.
Wait, did they know that you were on Ant Farm? Did they have any clue?
No idea. It was like a 50-year-old dude, and he was like,
Okay.
"What did you do? Why are you here?" I was like, "Not the reason that you're here.
Not the reason.
Not the reason." You have no idea who I
That
am.
might be worth
What was
something
the
someday.
event? Was it like a
Hang on
an
to that
actor
time.
event? Like, did he was like, "Oh, you're an actor. Sign this." Is that what it was?
No, it was a golf event, so it was all athletes.
Oh,
he was
so
like,
he thought
"Oh,
you were a
must-"
professional athlete.
Something like that.
Okay.
Yeah. And then he
I
saw
don't
like
think
someone
so.
talking to me, and he was like, "You might be important, maybe. I don't know." People do that all the time, though. People do that. When we were here for the Final Four thing, like one person recognized us, and then everyone recognized us. And even people who didn't recognize us, they were like, "There's a crowd over there. Something's going on. I'm gonna go investigate it." And then
Yeah, that's always I think we've talked about too. Is like there's we have like such an anxiety when taking photos in public, because I think that when I was like 10 or 11, one photo usually meant like somebody would go,
50.
why are they taking a photo? And then they'd be like, "Oh, that's who that is." So then it would be like a sea of people taking it.
Yeah.
It was like that one
It's a
thing
domino
sparked it.
effect,
Yeah.
yeah.
I always got into arguments like with my ex-girlfriends over this because I was like, "I don't want to take a photo." And they're like, "Come on, we're out like doing this. Let's take a photo." And I'm like, "I really don't want to," because it like
Yeah.
that always like to me started something bigger.
Oh, so you would tell people
Yeah.
no? They'd be like, "I want a picture." You'd say,
Oh,
"Sorry."
I've never said no to a photo like that.
Oh,
Only to
okay.
my girlfriends.
yeah,
Oh.
No, like I've actually literally never said
you're
no.
at Niagara Falls, and she's like, "Can we just take one
And
photo?"
I'm like,
and you're
"No,
like,
there might
"No,
be
I'm not
people
gonna do it." No. Yeah.
Well, I can
know.
imagine though if you have someone who's like, if you're people coming up to you every day saying, "Hey, can you do the you're watching Disney Channel thing?" Like every
Yeah.
day, I'd be like, "Shut up!" Like,
No, I mean
you
like
know?
I'll never say no to a photo though, because
No.
like, you know, if I saw somebody that I was like super
Oh,
excited
totally.
to see, I would be so bummed out if they were like, "No." I'd
As
be
a
like, "All right,
kid,
well, I'm an idiot."
was that like, because you said you like loved the attention, you guys both seemed to like want to pursue this. It wasn't something that was like,
Yeah.
you know, led by your parents or
yeah.
anything. But then how was that as a kid when it started to get bigger and bigger? Like, how did it shape your ego, how you interacted in public?
I don't think I processed it at all for years. And I think I was so confused on like what any of that meant.
Thank you to Haya for sponsoring this portion of today's episode. Our oldest is literally so close to turning 2, and I'm not sure how I feel about it. I'm
That's
actually having a
freaky.
crisis.
And he already thinks he's 2. We're like, Griffin, how old are you? 2.
He says 2.
He says 2.
Yeah, it's crazy. But now that he's getting older, it's time to start thinking more seriously about a multivitamin that works for him and our family. I'm so glad we found Haya. And you know what, Matt? The parents are talking. I've heard from other parents that they're actually very delicious. The good thing about Haya is that they're not basically just candy like some other kids' multivitamins are. Growing kids don't need that, especially when it's presented as something that's like for your health. And that's why Haya was created, the pediatrician approved super powered chewable vitamin. It was formulated with the help of nutritional experts. It's pressed with a blend of 12 organic fruits and veggies, then supercharged with 15 essential vitamins and minerals. So basically it kind of helps fill in the gaps where your kid might not be eating every food group necessary.
Well, maybe your kid's like our kid where they just want to eat, chicken nuggets.
Yeah, we're kind of in a tough place.
And cottage cheese. What is it with cottage cheese?
That's why I'm thankful that there's good multivitamins out there to kind of fill in those gaps as we're dealing with more of a picky eater stage. Hopefully we can work our way out of it, but until then, we have Haya. What's also cool about Haya is that you get these refillable bottles that you can decorate. We decorated them with our son. You have these stickers, and it's really nice because they come with these eco-friendly refills that you can get sent right to your door regularly, so you don't have to think about it, and then you don't have to throw away that packaging over and over. We've worked out a special deal with Haya for their best-selling children's vitamin. Receive 50% off your first order. To claim the deal, you must go to hayahealth.com/unplanned. This deal is not available on their regular website. Go to HIYAHEALTH.com/unplanned and get your kids the full body nourishment they need to grow into healthy adults.
Back to the episode.
I know that like I started to get really nervous in public. Like especially for the first show that I did on Good Luck Charlie, that show did very well, and for the 4-year span that we were on, anytime we'd leave the house like was a thing, and I don't think I understood that. I was like, now I look back and go, man, I wish I would be like, oh, that was so cool, that was really like such an amazing experience. But at the time I was like, what's happening? Because you're developing and you're so awkward, and my most awkward years were on television. So
on television and photographed by every single person.
And I look at the photos and I'm like, God, like, like people look back at their photos like when they're in 8th grade and they're like, oh, I was so awkward in my yearbook photo. I'm like, well, everybody has a photo of me being awkward, And so it's like, I think that was jarring, and it's something that you're like excited about, and then it happens and you're like, I don't really know how to handle this. But at the end of the day, though, it's like what we were just saying is like, people are excited to see you. That's pretty cool, like that's an amazing feeling to know that like you did something that means something to them.
Did that change the experience at all because you were going through puberty and going through these awkward phases? Do you look back and think, oh, I wish I had done things differently because of it being such a transformative time in your life?
I really don't know.
That's like the thing. Like, we didn't go to high school, like traditional high school, so it's hard to say like, oh man, I would give up this experience just to have a normalized experience, whatever that means. But I think we have a lot of different lessons we learned that from a traditional upbringing, but I don't know. It's hard to say that I would exchange it because it's very valuable, the lessons that we've learned. It's very weird to have a completely different life experience than a lot of our peers, but it definitely changed who we are as people.
Makes you grow up faster.
Makes you grow up fast. But then at the same time, like, we're now like 25 and we look back on that and we're like, oh, those are, going out in public as a 15-year-old, 12-year-old, whatever, and like being worried about like the public's perception of you is a very weird thought to have as a 12-year-old.
Yeah.
Did you ever have to have security or anything at the height of the attention?
Never like personal security. I mean, certainly when you go to events or something like that, you'd have to have security.
Most of that was just provided with the event. I mean, my grandma was always with me, so.
Yeah, so she was fending people off left and right.
Oh, really?
A linebacker,
So your grandma was the person that was like always with you?
Yeah, she was like my caretaker. So she like took me around to set and was with me basically every day until I was like 16 or 17.
Did your whole family move out to California so that you could do,
just
all the
grandma.
acting? Just your grandma.
Just
so your
my
whole
grandma.
family stayed back in Indiana.
Yep.
So
That's so sweet.
How did that affect relationships with your family back home?
I have two sisters and a brother, so they finished their career. They graduated college and everything while I was doing that. It definitely like is I didn't really get to grow up with them, so I definitely missed some of those years, but I still kept in contact with them a lot. Like I still see my mom as much as I can, and I would go back there over the summer, like when we weren't filming or like before we were doing the shows, we'd have a lot of time off. So I still got to see them a lot, but it definitely puts a strain on it, especially when we're filming for like. We filmed 6 to 8 months out of the year. You filmed like for a year straight, but your family was here.
Yeah, I want to ask about that. Like, I know there's like laws, like how long you can work and stuff. What is like a day when you're filming these, like, you're like regulars on a show? What would your schedule be like?
So 4-camera sitcoms, like,
best.
it's the best gig you can get in television for sure. It's a very niche job.
Very structured.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't like the kind of work that it is, but as far as like structure goes, it's the closest thing to a 9 to 5 that you could have. I mean, our schedule personally on Good Luck Charlie was Monday through Friday. On Monday we would go in and we would do the table read, where you just read through the script, maybe rehearse a little bit, but they would change the script up a lot after the table read. You come in on Tuesday, you're there from like 9:30 to 3 rehearsing, and then you run through the whole script for all the writers from start to finish. And then they do more notes, change it up. Wednesday you come in, do the same exact thing, same exact time, but the network comes in, so it's writers and network, so now it's a bigger run through at the end of the day. And then they do final notes, and then Thursday and Friday you're filming. And for us, we've shot a live audience Friday night, so from like 4 o'clock to 8 o'clock we did like live scenes. And then Monday was a new episode. So you just 5 days in that span.
I know you guys said you haven't seen Quiet on Set, but something that some past child actors said on the show is they wouldn't let their kids child act because of whatever, situation they had been in. I'm curious, what's your take on that?
If I were to have a kid, I would feel fine putting the kid into the industry if that's something they wanted to. I certainly wouldn't encourage it.
Yeah, I think
You got to want to do it, I think, as a kid.
Yeah.
Like, unless you're a little baby for like, those cute commercials that you see with little babies, or like, print jobs or something like that.
Yeah,
Great,
I think
but-
the reason I wouldn't encourage it wouldn't necessarily be because of any, like, I don't think that working as a kid caused any problems in my life. It would be more of like, I think as a whole, acting as a career is just a brutal job. And I think we've both seen very great highs and very awful lows of working in the industry of like, okay, maybe I'm just terrible at this. You get to that point where you're like, and maybe you're just not right for roles at the time.
Yeah.
There's so many specific time frames of your life where you're like, you're not in that high school range, you're not in the college range, you're not a parent yet, so then you're like in this weird area, and then you're not old enough to be like the adult figure. So it's like, it's all dependent on just scripts, and it's not about you, but it feels like it's about you, and you don't get to control any of it. And like, I feel like for my kids,
You said it really well the other day too. You said like, in the grand scheme of a 70-year career, if you don't work for 5 years, 10 years, it's not that big a deal. We worked as a kid. We might work in 5 years for the next 10 years,
yeah, and it's like, but in that time frame where you're not working, you just feel worthless, because you're like, I can't do anything. I can't, I can't control, like, I can't be the hardest working person because I'm not getting the work,
What's that like, being told no time and time again?
I'm so numb to it at this point, genuinely so numb to it that like I feel like for both of us too, you've been in
Laugh it off, I think.
Yeah, dude. Like, but it also kind of makes you, in an unfortunate way, when you get penned for something and it's between you and another person and it's a big project and you don't get it. That happens enough times to where like if you're just runner up again, you're like, I literally don't care. Like people are like, that's so exciting, you're penned for this, and you're like, no, it's not. It's not exciting until like there's no second place. You can't. You don't get paid for being penned for something.
Yeah.
Like you didn't win, so there's nothing you can do. If you go to the Super Bowl 10 years in a row and you didn't win one of them, you still probably had an amazing career. But if you're second fiddle on something every single time you audition for it, it really doesn't matter.
It's tough to keep hope, and I think that's where like. If I'm going to have a kid get in the industry, that's where I would say, if you have hope always and it's something that you want to do it.
Yeah, you got to be okay with the idea that it's going to be awful.
It has to be your dream. It has to be your life. You have to commit to it, because if you can't half-ass it.
Did you guys get more yeses as kids
yes.
than you do now as adults?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And I think when you're working too, people kind of blow smoke a little bit because you there's just like schmoozing. It's always like oh my God, this is the best show we've done. Like, you guys are gonna work for forever, and you're just kind of on set. You're like, yeah,
man.
I'm never
This
not
is
gonna
awesome.
work,
I'm
dude.
awesome.
And then like you come out of it, and you're like, okay, where's that work? You know, like everybody's talking about all this work.
Everyone's gonna be here on Monday, right? And you're like, no,
They're
we're
like,
done,
no,
man.
dude,
What do
you
mean?
suck. What are you talking about? Get off our set. And it's like, you know, you just like you go like, oh, okay, everybody was lying to me at a certain point, and then it's you just
And then
kind
they
of back
weren't
to the
lying to
drawing
you.
board.
I mean, it's like
No, they're just doing their job.
They're just doing their job. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a bizarre business. That's why I wouldn't want my kid to do it. But again, like he said, if the kid was like, it's the only thing I want to do, I'd be like, that's great. Do whatever you want, but it's gonna suck.
Yeah.
You know?
Is that
suck for a while?
So is that hard then, coming from this high of like, you're a kid, you're famous, you're making all this money, everybody wants to be you, and then time goes on and maybe you're not booking as many roles as you were, the career isn't going as well as it once was. What does that do to your mental health?
No, we worked for like 6 straight years. It felt like we were just going to keep working, and that momentum's going to keep going.
Yeah.
And so it started to get a little bit more stagnant for me, but I did like a few movies and shows here and there. But yeah, like since COVID, it's been a much more isolated industry. Everything's a little bit more remote, or entirely more remote. Now it's starting to go back in person a little bit, but it's definitely humbling. Genuinely, I felt like once I got my first job, my second job, third job, and then we're on Disney, started to feel like things were getting handed to you because of the position you were in and that people trusted you. But once you remove yourself a little bit from that environment, and once a year has gone by, and then 2 years from like leading your own show or just doing small things, people need to rebuild that trust. A company, a casting director, a producer, a production company, they want to see what you've been doing and how you've been leading. And sometimes it's not just a tape or a performance. They want to see a bigger background. So it's definitely a lot harder work now.
I think for me, so I started working when I on Good Luck Charlie when I was 9. That show went until I was like 13, 14 years old. Then we started working together right away. And then we worked until I was 18. I didn't go to high school in person, so I just started dating a girl who was going into her freshman year of college, and she was going away to school. And I was like, wow, that sounds really cool. Like that seems like something I want to do. So I kind of made the choice to start doing, regular college, and I started a community college. I was on a TV show on ABC called Schooled, and then I had just done a film for Adam Sandler. And so
before COVID, you were working like
I was working a good amount, and then I kind of like went full time at USC and was living down there and just kind of like really committed to being a frat bro, and just like that's what I wanted to be, and like that was my new thing, and so I was auditioning less. I was honestly like turning down auditions, and I think my agents just kind of knew like, man, he's not even going to want to do it, because I just wanted to go.
What was that like working with Adam Sandler?
Oh, this is the best, dude. That was my favorite thing I've ever worked on.
He seems like such a nice guy, and I love how he does not care what he's wearing.
He's the best.
All the photos of him just like looking like a
Incredible.
hobo. I love it. It's like he's just him.
Dude, I was there.
Fashion king, man.
I was there for a week. I was in maybe 3 scenes, fully because Adam he and his kids liked our show. And like
Really?
Yeah. It was like he had all of his kids' favorite shows in the movie, and like the some of the people from it. And so I went to Boston and filmed just like basically a cameo. I mean, I maybe filmed for 3 or 4 days, and
You were there for 3 weeks too?
no, we were like a week and a half, 2 weeks.
That's great.
Which was the best, dude, because we were just in Boston, and I was with some of my friends that I had grown up working with. So we just were going around Boston.
He's a sucker for Boston.
Yeah, I'm a big Red Sox fan, so I was just going to games by myself. It was best time of my life, like seriously. But like the fact that I was there, I was number 1,000 on the call sheet and barely spoke in the movie, but it genuinely was my favorite project. It's all to the credit of Adam and how he runs his sets and how excited people are to just work for him and be a part of it, because it's so fun. And like there were long days, but you didn't care because you were like, I'm just so happy to be here.
That's awesome.
It was the coolest experience. But I went right into like the week after that, I went and started at USC and just kind of like was like, all right, I can take these 2 years that I'm here to like really just be in college and I'll be fine. And then I came out of it and I was like, all right, I'm ready to work again, and thought the entertainment industry was waiting for me. But and then it was like, okay, well, now what? I think just like the idea in my head of like having gone from 9 years old to 20 years old of really never not working. I think I did at least an episode of television from 9 years old to 22 years old. in a year, right? And so I didn't know what it was like to not work, and I kind of just expected work. And I think for me personally, I enjoyed the time of not working because I know the next time that you do work, it's like the best thing in the world, you know, because I think I expected it too much as a kid, and I didn't know that, you know.
We're definitely spoiled. Like we
100%.
got, it's a great job. So like being on set was such an absolute pleasure and luxury.
What was that like making money as a kid? Because for me, when the first time I got paid as a like child actor in theater, this is so stupid. I made $300. I made $300 to do, I think it was 38 shows of The Music Man, and I was just
38
38 shows
for $300 a show.
$300 total. It was
my.
it was basically gas money. It was basically like, hey, because my mom was driving me to all these, you know, shows and rehearsals, and I loved it. I loved performing, but I thought
Every
I was
show, they're like,
rich.
"Here's
I thought I was
$10."
loaded. I was like, Mom, I made $300, and she's like, I spent $3,000 on gas.
Yeah.
But like, she didn't tell me that. But I'm so curious what that was like, because you guys, I'm guessing, made more than $300 doing what you did.
A couple bucks.
I made like 200.
You were
300.
making 200?
Yeah.
Okay.
We were actually
200
just talking
million.
about we were talking about this the other day on our show. Was both my mom and his grandma were very similar in the sense of like I could not have told you how much money I had until I was 19 years old, 20 years old.
I knew how much I was making, but then I
knew what number a week.
The access that I had was like probably, I think I had access to like $100 a month.
Yeah, my mom
Legit?
Dude, my
Yeah,
mom allowed me to buy myself a gift every year for $200. $200, dude. I was working. I remember it was one year we did Good Luck Charlie. We did season 2. I worked 15 episodes, went and shot a movie, did 15 episodes, and had done a movie before that season. Worked for like a year and a half straight, and I got to buy myself a $200 gift.
What did you buy yourself?
It was something stupid, I bought like a bike one year because I thought that would be fun, and then I remember when I was 16 and I bought a car
For $200?
$200?
No, but like my dad wanted to just give me his car that he had used for a few years because he had done that with all my sisters.
Had farted in. You know?
Yeah. But my mom was like, he can buy his own car. And I remember like car shopping, and I'm looking at these cars and I'm like, I can't afford this. There's no way. My mom's like,
This car's $18.
My mom was like, you can get it. And I'm like, are you sure? And she was like, yeah, I think you're good. And I was like, all right, well, I don't need to get that package. I think we can be conservative on this one. And then I remember, like, when I got access to my bank accounts, because I didn't even really start spending my own money until like my junior year of college, because my parents paid for college and they were paying for like me to be down there like they did with my sisters. You know, they didn't want to like be like, oh, well, you have money, you go pay for your own college. They were like, we paid for your sisters to go to school.
I bet you bought everyone drinks for.
Oh, dude, I did. Seriously, everybody would be like, nah, I can't afford that. I'm like, we're good. We got alcohol. Like, I got alcohol. No, but I just didn't know. I really didn't. I didn't know that I had any kind of money, and I'm so happy and appreciative of that now. I tell my mom that all the time. However, I do hope every once in a while she's going to be like, surprise, there's another bank account. This one's got a lot more in it. And I'm like, oh, thank God.
This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. We've said it once, we've said it a million times, but we are in counseling.
We're in counseling.
Thank you to BetterHelp.
Thank you, BetterHelp. You've helped our marriage.
Truthfully, I mean, seriously, truthfully, we've actually used it. We actually regularly use it.
Yeah.
And I think the only reason we actually got started is because BetterHelp is so user-friendly. And they don't just have marriage counseling, they also have individual therapy.
Well, actually, yeah, that's the thing. So BetterHelp is for individuals, and Regain is BetterHelp's couples therapy.
Yes. So it's been really nice for us to kind of figure out more like conflict resolution and like kind of understanding each other's perspectives. And honestly, it's inspired me to want to pursue individual therapy, specifically also with BetterHelp, just because it's been so easy to use. It's designed to fit you and your schedule. It's completely online. And if you're not vibing with your therapist, you can switch at any time for no additional cost.
You can fire them. No. I would feel bad if we did that to our therapist.
No, now I feel like we can't
have a
ever
connection.
lose her.
She's the best.
So if you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. Like I said, it's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suit your schedule. You just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist, and you can switch at any time for no additional charge.
And we literally schedule ours during our kids' nap time so that they're not like yelling and screaming. That's why I love that it's online, because you can just find the most convenient time for you to do the therapy call,
right.
and boom.
No driving time. Get it off your chest with BetterHelp. BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/UnplannedPodcast today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/UnplannedPodcast.
Back to the episode. Speaking of fraternity, do you have a fake ID? Like, were you
Hey, you
the?
just put it in my on blast? Yeah, of course I did.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I did. We were talking about this the other day too. I got my
Yeah.
fake ID sent in a toy airplane.
Okay.
I had bought it with Bitcoin.
Okay.
And then I got a fake ID. The problem that I came across was I literally handed it to a waiter and he goes, "You know what the problem is?" And I go, "What?" He goes, "I know who you are and I know how old you are." And I go, "All right, well, let's pretend this didn't happen." And he was like, "That's fine by me." And I was like, "Okay." And so we moved on from it. But then after that, I was always worried. So I was very like particular with my fake IDs. It'd be to like get no
I
bars.
don't think I heard that one. That a waiter recognized you when you
Oh,
handed
yeah.
it. That's pretty funny.
They Googled me. They literally like went back and Googled me and was like, "Yeah, it says your age right here."
I don't understand.
Yeah, you can come in.
Hey,
there.
Google.
That was Google.
That was
Yeah.
Google.
Oh, that's
I don't know if you
hilarious.
guys could hear that. Jake, what about you? Did you have any run-ins with the law?
I had someone else's fake ID. I never had one.
Should we tell them the fake ID story?
I want to hear it now.
My 21st birthday party?
I don't remember, but go ahead.
Okay.
Wait, the bus?
No. So Jake went to a party down at USC one time, and he met this guy, and the guy was like, "I just turned 21. Do you want this fake ID?" And he was like, "Yeah, I'll take the fake ID." You were what, 20 at the time, maybe? Mm-hmm. So you used it for a couple years. I turned 21, and he comes to my birthday party, and he meets my best friend's
On the bus.
parents. You mean when you with Jen and
On
Jeff?
the bus.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know if
the
that's what
bus.
you're talking
Oh,
about.
yes.
But so he goes up to them and he was talking about how when he was under 21 he had a fake ID, and he goes, "This was my fake ID," and he like made a joke. He was like, "Oh, I'm so and so," and they were like, "Oh, that's our son."
And I was like, oh,
Yeah, they were like, "Okay," and then
And
they
I
were
was like, "What's
"No,
your
that's-"
home address?" And they were like, "Blah, blah, blah, blah." And I was like, "Oh my God, that's your son."
And so my best friend, who he knew, like my best friend Bryce, it was his brother who went to USC. They randomly met at a party, and he gave him his fake ID. He goes to my 21st and was like, "Here's a fake ID." They're like, "That's our son."
Did people
so random.
tease
Yeah,
you?
it's crazy, right?
You were trying to use it?
No. I was
He
just
was just
showing it
bragging.
off.
He
I
was
was like,
showing it off,
it's my
yeah.
old one. I still have it. I don't know why I have it. And they were like,
Wait,
"That's our
how
son."
does the fake idea work? Like, it's not your face
We're
on it?
we're so
No,
sheltered.
his wasn't.
Like,
Yeah.
I mean, like you showed a bar and they were like, "Okay."
That makes sense. My mom used my Costco card the other day, and she got away with it. It was crazy.
Same thing.
I'm curious though. Did you get teased in your fraternity for being like, "Oh, it's the Disney guy," or was it like,
Yes.
"Dude, he can hook us up with alcohol because he's rich"?
No, it was brutal.
Oh, I'm sorry, dude.
My composite photo was me holding a sign that said, "And you're watching Disney Channel." So that's in my fraternity.
And you just had to go along with it, I'm sure, or you would have gotten made
Dude,
fun
you know,
of.
to me, it was kind of like if I'm not in on the joke, these people aren't gonna like me.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? Just make fun of me. I don't care. I can take it. And like, I'd rather all of us be friends, because eventually, once they get the joke out, they're like, "Oh, all right, whatever," and then everybody gets over it, right? So
Yeah.
eventually, I just wanted to be the normal person there that everybody wanted to hang out with. So I was like, if I come into this as like "Dude, can we not talk about that
come
thing?"
on,
Like,
yeah.
I don't want to bring it up. People are gonna be like, "Ugh, he sucks," you know. So I was
Or
just
then,
like,
"Oh,
yeah.
we like to bring him around. We like to make fun of him. He's
Yeah,
super
so
sensitive."
Yeah, whatever. People would make fun of me. It was fine. I don't care. Like, I will joke about anything, and I always do. I'll joke about anybody, and if they joke about me, I really don't care, because it's like, you can't
I'm
handle the
sensitive,
heat. Get
so
out of the
I
kitchen.
throw it back at him a little
God,
too hard
I'm so
sometimes.
sensitive.
I'm like fairly, but not that sensitive.
We got into a brief argument on the golf course today.
Really?
What, we
On
did?
the first hole. Do you know how miserable that is to set up your round with an argument on the first hole? He literally said the words to me, "I will not be supportive to you for the rest of the day."
I did
That's
say
how
that,
mad
yes.
he was.
I was like, "Please don't say
I
that
will
to me.
not
I don't want
be
to talk to you right
supportive.
now. I will not be supporting you for the rest of the day."
Anyway, yes, it was very brutal in a fraternity.
That was awesome with them.
If Disney asked you guys to work again with them, would you do it?
Probably not for the channel. I would do something for Disney Plus because it's a massive company. If it was the right idea, but I would not want to work on the channel again. Just as an adult. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Why
yeah,
is
it
that?
has nothing to do with Disney, really. It's more of like,
Optics,
yeah,
really.
and also like you do it when like you're a kid, you know.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, that's unless you come back and play a parent in 20 years or something like
If
that.
I did the Girl Meets World thing where the dad came back in to do the Boy
Totally
Meets
different.
World, he's the
Yeah.
dad, and Girl Meets World, that's a different situation. But if I were to go back and like play
a kid,
a kid, I don't know. But I'm also
Oh.
26. I don't think that's gonna happen.
yeah.
So then are you basically, is the goal so you do Disney and then you want to differentiate yourself to then try to I guess, like leave that space in a way.
Yeah.
I do find it funny. And I don't even know if we've ever really talked about this. I do find it funny that people think that like, oh, that person's like going so hard to like get out of that Disney image.
Do
like,
people
they're
say
doing
that
thing.
about you guys?
Yeah, just like anytime you try to do something like, or like
It's like
somebody
being typecast.
yeah, something like that. It's like, dude, I think people are just getting the work that they get, you know?
Yeah.
Like, do you think that they're really picking those projects going, God, I just want to throw myself away from Disney. I don't want people to know. It's like, no, you go on the audition. If you book it, and you're like, it is what it is.
And we talked about this recently. I don't know who it was, but I remember it being like, I think they just took a job that they got offered.
yeah. It's just like, I don't think you're thinking way too far into it.
Like they're not
you
making
know?
a statement or
No,
anything.
dude,
It's just like if we got something that's a little risque or raunchy right now, we would do it because we like the material or like we were offered the job and something we're interested in. And if it's something that's very separated from Disney, people will be like, oh man, they were doing this and now they're doing this. Like obviously there's some connection here. It's like, well, we took a job here and we took a job
get it
here.
sometimes though on our podcast. People will be like, oh, they want to swear just to not be like on Disney, and we're like, no, dude, we're just having a conversation. Like I don't know, I'm not thinking that far into it. I'm not trying to do anything. I just talking to my friend.
We're being diligent right now, though. We're not.
I appreciate
We're
that.
on Disney
You guys
Channel.
are doing
This
great.
is Disney Channel.
Yeah.
You guys are doing
Unplanned.
awesome.
We're trained.
Thank you so much.
It's been a lot of years doing it. We're
I can
good.
feel your radiating support. I like it.
Well, you did take a
film.
more adult film last year.
Oh, you did porn?
I did do that. Yes, I
You
did.
did
porn.
what? Oh,
Brother,
yeah.
Sex appeal?
Okay, I
You
saw
did
that
sex
sex
appeal
appeal.
about this?
That's how I met my girlfriend.
Wait, no way. Was she your co-star?
She was my co-star. She was the lead of the
What?
film. So yeah, I was her love interest.
So like, was the chemistry
Wow,
just there
that's
on
a
set?
story.
Chemistry was there. Yeah.
So you're making out on set, and you're like, this is the one.
We were making out before we had to make out on set. Yeah.
Rehearsal.
Rehearsal. Yeah, that's actually. I was like, oh, we should go over our scenes and stuff and like hang out and like get to know each other and then
So that stuff
my
actually
dressing
led to
happens.
another. Yeah.
I see. I didn't.
That stuff happens.
I thought that was just a rumor. Like, oh, people, like, so you legit like fell in love while filming the movie.
while filming the movie.
And
Yeah.
can I just
No
say,
way.
I've dated a girl who wasn't working in the film industry,
It's
a hard
nice.
thing to explain to somebody that like, oh, you got to go, make out with your co-star or whatever for
Just
a project.
another day at work.
Yeah, it's like it is your job. And at the time, you can attest to this too. It's like when you're actually doing the scene, you're not even thinking about like kissing a person. Like you're not it's blocking. You're just going through the scene.
when I've had to do it in other projects, it's like
Yeah, but
Yeah.
so I would always
Very
say
dope.
that and be like, yeah, you got to understand, like it's not real. It doesn't feel anything real about it. It's really hard to have my best friend and his girlfriend had worked on a movie together, had to make out on screen, and then started dating. It really invalidates your point when you're like, no, it's not real, and then they're like, how'd you meet? Oh, on our movie.
Has that been an issue before with girlfriends?
It's kind of hard when you're like going to film a movie, right? Like in the Sandler movie, I had to make out with a girl at a party or whatever. It's kind of hard to be like, ooh, I don't know, because you're like, if Adam Sandler's asking me to do it, I'm gonna go do that.
yes.
Like it's not really up to me, dude. And like we said it the other day, it's like I don't really want to have to do that. It's not like the best blocking in the world because it's kind of awkward, and you're like, I like the thing was to make out in front of Adam, and he had to like separate us, and I'm like so nervous that that's happening in the first place.
That was in the movie.
Yeah, like
Adam
I'm like,
Sandler breaking up you guys.
yeah,
making
so
out.
I'm like scared as it is, and it's like then you got to add that into there, and I'm like I'm like my girlfriend's like, oh, you got to make out with somebody. I'm like, I don't even know what's happening, and you're like, can we just drop it, please?
Wait, so do you just logistically on set when you're making out with someone? Is there someone just like back there, just like, okay, cut, like that's enough?
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
you're usually never gonna take it too far if it's like really my girlfriend and I are an anomaly. There's people that it happened to. It doesn't happen to most people. Most of the time you have to make it on camera. It's just awkward. It's like conversation before, like, hey, here's what we're gonna do, here's what I don't want from you and you probably don't want from me, here are our boundaries, and
Generally you don't even rehearse it either.
you don't rehearse the
Usually
kiss.
you're just like, it's like, okay, so that's where we do that, and then
Yeah.
you go back to the lines, and you just know that on like the day you're gonna do it.
I mean, it's choreography basically. You
Yeah.
just plan everything out.
I did, however, one time have to I had like a intimate-ish scene where we had to like fall onto a bed kissing, and when we fell onto the bed, she accidentally kneed me in the genitals.
Oh god.
And, like hardcore, and so I couldn't stay in the scene and just went on set, and everybody started cracking up because I got kneed so hard. And so then I was like, terrified the next take of like, no, like,
do that.
do that. So, yeah.
Did that make it in the movie?
No, dude, because
Dang
it
it.
wasn't a funny scene.
Oh.
It was not supposed to be a comedy.
I
Yeah.
love that when those unplanned moments end up in movies. Has that happened to you guys before?
Oh yeah, I've
Probably.
broken on camera so many times.
Oh,
Really?
no.
Yeah.
And they just
I
keep it in because they're like, that was amazing. And they just keep it in the movie.
If it's like, even if someone, like, it's like the SNL thing, right? Like where they're breaking on camera and it's funny. They don't do it a lot, but like if there's a really good shot or something that's really funny and like one person kind of breaks, they'll leave it in there. Yeah.
I love on SNL when they start laughing.
I do too.
That's the
It's
best
great.
when like they get somebody else to laugh like that.
Their
It's always the
co-star, like
funniest moment.
after 3 days of rehearsing, they just change one thing and it makes
Yeah.
the other person lose it. It's great.
What's that scene for you? Was it on a TV show, a movie?
Yeah, I think it was on Ant Farm, the one that I specifically remember when I was like 13. It was one of the first episodes, and I thought what I was doing was so funny, and I kept laughing as I was like, I had to like fall forward, and I kept laughing as I fell forward, and it's still.
Yeah, the problem is eventually the crew does
It's-
not find it
no.
funny, and
Oh.
they're like,
Like
"Can
it.
we please?" And you're like, "I'm trying, dude. It's just so funny, you know." We had to do a scene on Good Luck Charlie where me, Jason, and Eric walk out wearing diapers because there's something in the episode, and I'm like 11, and they eventually were like, fine, just laugh in the scene because it's just not working. Because every time we would walk out, I'd have to turn around and see the two of them in diapers, these grown men walking out in diapers, and just made me laugh every
That's
time.
funny.
So they were just like, yeah, it's fine, whatever. Like, just leave it in there. and just
man.
me cracking up in the scene.
Eric in a diaper.
I know.
That's awesome.
But we were talking about this the other day too. Is like sometimes with like improv or anytime somebody wants to change up like dialogue, it always gets scary because you're like, this is either going to be really funny or people are going to be like, can you just stick to the words,
yeah.
please? You know,
Say
and you're
what's
like,
written.
I'm taking a shot here. Is this funny? And then I've done it a couple times on sitcoms where I'm like, they didn't find that
Yeah,
funny at all. And they're
They
like,
didn't
"All
like
right."
that.
Yeah.
Because you've been getting into stand-up, right? Isn't that something that you're starting to do?
I did do stand up.
Mm-hmm.
I did stand up like a month ago. It was my first time trying that.
Is it terrifying?
Stand up is it's the most vulnerable thing I think I've ever had to do in my life. You just hoping that the joke works. That's all it is. And when it doesn't work, you're like, okay, what do I do now?
How do I
You know?
recover? Yeah.
Yeah, because you like you rehearse it to where it's like that's the punchline for me, and then I said it, and it was like, oh, that wasn't the punchline for them, I guess, because they didn't laugh at that. So I'm like, all right, let's roll into the next thing, I guess, and see if this one
There's
works.
no one to save you. There's no one on stage except for yourself. The audience is your friend only if you make them your friend.
Yeah, and it
Terrifying.
was it's terrifying. But we had a comedian on our show the other day, Michael Blaustein. He does the Stiff
Socks.
Socks podcast
Okay.
with Trevor. He was just talking about he's been doing stand up for like 14 years or something like that.
Insane.
And he's a great comedian. And we were just kind of talking about like the process of it and like the commitment to just failing over and over again. And I was like, man, I don't want to do that. The idea of that, like I love stand up so much and I love the idea of doing stand up, but I'm like, it's not like my kind of career. I've committed to like failing in acting and I've done that plenty of times, you know, but like the idea of going up on stage like that and doing that, I'm like, I don't love it enough to want to commit to that.
Like
you know?
acting, you love it enough to take the
I've-
downsides.
yeah, because I've failed it plenty of times, like walking into auditions and feeling like that was bad. Like that was a bad performance. I wish I could do that again. But like with stand-up,
Something
I'm
about
like,
people not liking you and like the possibility of getting booed. It feels like people really don't like you. If you mess up in
Yeah.
front of a casting director, it's like, oh, okay, you had a bad day, or like that's
other
not the right
people's
role
words,
for you.
you know?
Yeah, it's other people's words. That just wasn't right. If you walk off a stage and you're getting booed or it was a bad performance and it went on for too long, you bombed. It feels really personal.
Yeah,
It feels like
because it's
people
your joke.
Didn't like you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. And so that's why it's like that's way more terrifying. I'd rather crawl behind somebody's words and be like, "Oh, these words weren't funny. That's not my fault."
Yeah.
Or receive an email and not like in
Yeah,
person,
yeah,
like
yeah.
directly. That
Yeah, or
seems
you just
brutal.
never hear from them again, and you're like, "Okay, I didn't get it." That's a lot easier than like being booed off a stage.
Back to meeting your girlfriend then. You're making out. You're probably having to film intimate scenes on set. Like, how does that even work? Like, is there someone who's like, okay, this is the makeout director and this is like the sex
Intimacy
scene
coordinator.
director, like intimate scenes coordinator. That's what it's called.
Intimacy
that's
coordinator.
new.
Yeah, that is new.
That's
I
like
don't know
within
if
the last
I don't know
like
how long.
5 or 6 years.
Really?
Yeah, I think that's like really new. I didn't even have that on Hubie.
Well, I think I didn't have it on like shows where I had to make out with people, but it's more for like if you're doing something that's like
Sexual.
nearly simulated sex.
But I thought that I still think it's new. I don't think it's like that old.
I've had like directors say like, oh, just you guys talk it over and do whatever's comfortable for like less intense stuff. Our stuff wasn't really that intense, and we obviously had worked out a connection before then to make sure that we both felt
You guys
comfortable.
really made out.
We've rehearsed this plenty of times.
They were like, "Can you guys try this?" And we're like, "Yeah, fine, great, let's do it. Whatever you guys need, really."
Thank you to Rocket Money for sponsoring this portion of today's episode.
I have a confession to make.
What is it,
There
Matt?
have been some subscriptions that I need to go on Rocket Money and have canceled.
What do you have going on over there?
We've kind of been picking up a lot of subscriptions recently.
It's so easy to do.
Everything is a subscription, and then it's so annoying when you forget about them. And there's definitely one that I'm thinking of right now that I need to go cancel.
Are we thinking of the same one?
Probably we're thinking of different ones, but with
okay.
Rocket Money, they make it really easy to cancel your subscriptions, which is really the reason that we got the app.
Yes, Rocket Money is a personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings.
And if you're a finance guy like me and you like to break out your spreadsheet and manually type in all your transactions in there, you're wasting your time, okay? Get Rocket Money. They connect to your credit cards, your bank accounts. They give you charts of like, this is how much revenue you brought in from your job. This is your expenses for the month. And they make it so nice and simple so that you can manage your finances with ease.
75% of people have unwanted subscriptions they don't even know about. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has saved a total of 500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $750 a year when using all of the app's features. Like we mentioned earlier, Rocket Money can also negotiate your bills. I'm not even sure how they do this, but we can say we've used it and it worked.
They negotiated
our home security system bill.
Yeah, our home security was like $50 and then they brought it down to $30.
So stop wasting money on things you don't use. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions by going to rocketmoney.com/unplanned. That's rocketmoney.com/unplanned. rocketmoney.com/unplanned.
Back to the episode. And undressing, like, do you see it in the script? It's like, okay, we need you to show your butt cheeks here. Like, how does that work?
Have you ever had to do that?
Do you guys?
I have had to do that.
Do you have to fill out a
Don't you know
form?
that?
Like, what are you willing to show? Are you willing to be shirtless on set? Are you
Depends on the
willing-
Was your
project.
butt
Yeah.
in
Okay.
sex appeal?
No, my butt was in the first team.
Oh, I didn't watch that.
You can't. It's hard to get access.
Has your
You're
butt
American,
gotten into
so.
any movies?
Has your butt
I don't
gotten
think so.
into movies? Huh? Young boy, has your butt
I'd have
made
to go
it to
look back and
movies?
look at my reel, I guess. I don't think so. Honestly, not my butt. Certainly not my butt.
Your face has made it into a couple things. I'm way more interested in your butt making it. Into
Dude, I've been shirtless? Question mark. I've never been buttless.
I've never cut off my butt.
I'm not the
that I
biggest fan of sex scenes in movies. Just as a fan,
yeah.
I'm not.
Just a fan of sex scenes in movies. I'm not a fan of sex scenes.
There's a lot of people who are big fans of it. No, I'm just like, I don't. When I watch a movie, oftentimes I'm like, why did we need to show this? You know, and I'm not even I'm not the cleanest human in the world when it comes to stuff like that. I usually don't care, but I'm like, can you help me explain what I meant there?
I get it.
That sounded weird.
I know, our
naked,
podcast
I'm
is
not
raunchy.
clean.
Yeah,
We're
you
not.
guys cuss on your
we cuss,
podcast.
Yeah, we're
say-
disgusting.
That's
We don't really
crazy.
pull punches. I think what you're just saying is that
I
sex
don't
scenes
care.
are kind of unnecessary.
It's
in
not
movies
like
sometimes.
it's not like it offends me. I'm just usually like, this feels lazy to me. It's like, dude, just show I watched it when I watched Maestro. The movie Bradley Cooper just did.
I haven't seen it.
Do you even know who Bradley Cooper is?
I do know who Bradley
I
Cooper
can't even have a
is.
conversation.
We
with you.
live under a rock.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
apparently.
We have 2 kids. We got a lot of stuff going on.
Is the Rock named Griffin? Yeah.
Yeah, so he just wrote, directed, and starred in a movie called Maestro. Okay. They had the scene where he and the girl fall into the bed and they're kissing and whatever, and then it cuts to the morning after. They're laying under the sheets and they have a conversation.
And the
it's
movie's rated R, isn't it?
Yeah, dude. So they're not
They could've put it
holding
in there.
back. They could have done whatever they want, but it's like, yeah, I get what happened. I know that
Yeah.
these two people had sex. I don't need to see it. I get it, So sometimes in movies, it's like, why can't we just cut to the next thing?
I think it does depend on the movie and the material. So
Sure,
some
sometimes
movies
it
use
matters to whatever it is. Game
know.
of Thrones, I get that, right? It's like
Yeah.
a power thing or whatever. It's like
super bad. It's supposed to be like something like that's
funny.
awkward. It's funny. Or if there's some sort of element that it adds to the story. If it's just like a sex scene because that's what the movie needs to be to sell, then it's like, all
It's
right,
just like,
well,
this is lazy. Jennifer Lawrence was fully naked in her last movie. She did the comedy.
that awkward moment. This
no.
awkward.
No,
Star-
That
this
awkward moment was a Zac Efron movie from 2015.
That someone awkward. That's
No.
3 words. I know.
Whatever it is, doesn't matter.
This is awkward.
This is all awkward. So she had to be fully naked, and it was hilarious. Like what the bit was hilarious. So that moment, I'm like, yeah, that works. Like what happened was really funny. But like he's saying, it's just sometimes you're like, do we need to do, or do you just want to watch people?
Like,
do
I was
that?
trying to watch a movie with my family. Why is everyone
That's
naked
the
now?
worst, dude. When you're
Yeah.
sitting there
Why is
watching,
everyone naked now?
I'm like watching a movie with my mom, and I'm just like, oh my god.
Did you watch Sex Appeal with your mom?
I did not watch it with. I think I did watch it with some member of my family. I don't remember, but yeah, I did try my best to avoid it. I didn't want to see. It's weird. Also, dating the person that you made out with on camera because it's it feels very intimate to us.
Yeah.
Oh,
And it's
yeah.
like
Yeah, I've never even thought about it this way. It's probably like if you and Mika watched it with your family, it's probably like you're showing them your sex
yeah, it's like,
tape.
hey guys, check this
Yeah,
out.
and you're
We
just-
can do that right
You
here.
guys are sitting there
I remember
like,
her.
you like that?
Her
How
dad
about
watched
that?
it and he was like, well, one, he's foreign. He's really funny. He's like, I thought you guys did a great job.
Where is he from?
I don't know. Gentle land. He's a very gentle
What is that
giant.
accent?
He goes, there's some things.
He's from the
things.
Pooh Bear
He
universe.
talks. Yeah, it is Pooh Bear. Pooh Bear, literally. And he's like, there's some things in there that I didn't need to see, but you guys did a good job.
Yeah, I'm curious because you guys started your careers as children. Your parents were very involved, your family, your grandma, like very involved. And then is there like a point where they're like, okay, well, it was like, I loved having you on Disney Channel, like,
Yeah.
but now, like, did they call you up and like, please don't take that job or?
I definitely, my grandma like has read some of the scripts and she's like, she's from the South. I guess I'm gonna do accents right
Yeah,
now.
just keep
She goes,
working on 'em.
I would prefer if you did not do that. I'm like, all right, well, I'm gonna still go out for it, but yeah, it's definitely easier to watch the stuff we did back in the day than it is to watch some of the stuff that, I mean, we'll pretty much take anything that comes across our plate.
What was your grandma's
Yeah.
take on your butt cheeks
On my
in that one video?
Did she see it?
I think she did see it.
That woman has seen your butt cheeks.
It's nothing
Yeah,
new.
nothing new.
Because you started living with her at what, like 18? So she's probably seen your
Yeah.
butt
Yeah.
cheeks all the time. No, do you know what's so
She
weird
used to
for
draw me baths, you know. I'm working on my type.
She was a great artist.
Working on my
She was
comedy
drawing
set.
those paths. Anyway, so my mom, let's go back to my butt cheeks.
She listens to our podcast. My grandma's been trying to listen to our podcast. I don't let her do it.
My mom actually, when she listens to our podcast, she says we cuss too much. She'll love this one.
Yeah,
You will, yeah,
send
because
her the link.
you guys haven't cussed once in this whole episode.
Trust me, I know.
Hey, if you're watching this right now, tell your mom to watch, along with Bradley and
Hey,
Jake's
you
mom.
tell your mom to watch this
No,
podcast.
yeah, someone at the splash pad said, my mom sent me your podcast this morning.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
I was like,
our
I love that the
podcast or your
moms-
podcast?
It was actually ours.
Oh,
but
okay.
yeah.
Nobody's,
Damn, all
no
right.
moms are sending our podcast over.
You don't know that.
Yeah, have you guys heard the Zit?
I love
You and
I
your
love this
kids
place
are
called
gonna
the
love
Splash
that.
Pad, though.
sorry, what were you saying about?
Oh, my
Yeah,
butt?
your mom and your butt.
My mom and my butt is my new podcast that's coming out. So my mom and I always read lines growing up together. Like I just always liked reading my lines with her. She was the one who really helped me all the
so
way through
cute.
acting, everything, just on any Disney show. And I think that I feel most comfortable reading my lines with her. And so sometimes when I have like a big audition, oftentimes it's like, if it's a comedy and I feel super comfortable with it and I know how to make it funny, I'm good to just kind of do it on my own. But sometimes I just really like to read it out loud before I put it on tape or if I go in for the audition. So I'll call my mom or like I'll go meet her and do it. And
You'll go meet her?
yeah.
Well,
Sometimes
she's
like
a
if I'm
sweet
going over
lady,
to
that's nice.
well, I live 25 minutes from my parents, so it's not like I'm flying to Indiana. If I had to fly
That's
to
true.
Indiana, I wouldn't fly to Indiana ever, actually.
He just doesn't like Indiana. Okay,
So-
I get it.
But as the material's gotten a little more uncomfortable, like it's so much weirder for my mom and I, where they're like, if there's
I want you.
Oh my
stuff
gosh.
like that. Like I if it says that, I'm
yeah,
like,
no.
I'm not reading this with you. Like I can't. I'd rather lose out on this role than read these lines with you because it'll be things like that.
You could call me. I'm an actor. You know, I could probably help you out with
could
something
call
like
me.
that. But no, it's all right.
Dude,
I
it's
want
like,
you.
I read for something
want
the other
you.
day.
I want you.
It was like it said something about like her line had to be about like how hot I looked and something like that. And she just said it and I was like, oh God. Like we're good. I'm good on this
I got
scene.
it,
Like
yeah.
I don't want to do
Dude,
this one
I've
again.
seen you making your cooking videos on YouTube.
Yeah.
If you filmed you and your mom doing your scenes
Doing
together,
lines, yeah.
that would be the funniest freaking YouTube content ever.
You would have to record her secretly. She's
She
never been on
refuses to go
camera.
on camera.
Really?
So funny.
Except for an episode of Good Luck Charlie. Oh, she's gonna be pissed at me for saying this. She hates that I remind people of it.
Oh, 'cause
She was on an episode?
She was on an episode.
So
This is her
they-
story.
What?
This is her story.
Yeah, this is her
It's a
story.
big performance.
No, she there was a bit on the show where I go to an amusement park with my mom on the show, and they're filming a commercial there, and they ask me to be in the commercial, and the mom on my show like always wanted to be on television. That was like her bit, and she doesn't get put in this commercial, so she was pissed about it, and they hire another woman to play my mom, and the writers were like, please will you do this so that it's funny. And
Yeah.
my mom was like, no, I don't want to be on television ever.
Aw.
She said no for weeks because they were like, we have this bit, like please let us do this, and she was like, no, I'm not
I
gonna
love
do
that they
it.
like knew it was going to take weeks, so they prefaced it.
Yeah,
and then-
exactly.
yeah.
And so my there was a bit in there, like on the show everyone is blonde except for me in the family. I'm the only brunette.
That's true.
Yeah, it's weird. We've gone over it 1,000 times, but it was just it was just kind of an ironic thing. And so when my mom eventually said yes to doing it, they put a bit in there. Like one of the lines was that I look at her and I go, "Oh God, you look more like my mom than my actual mom." You know? And nobody knew that it was my mom for a really long time until somebody. Like she was like, I don't like make it a thing because like then maybe people will just get through this and like not know. But somebody figured it out somehow. I think they put together that like they like found photos of me at like red carpet events and like my mom kind of in the back of it and different like photos.
Or, like,
and they were
cut
like,
off her face and-
Yeah,
They're
and it
like,
was like,
"No
and they were like,
way."
that's his
I love
mom. So
people.
then it became like
That's
a whole
awesome.
thing that it was my mom.
Cute.
And then there was recently a TikTok that like blew up, and I sent it to her and she called me furious, like, I don't want to see this, like, and she's like, my mom's a beautiful woman, she just hates being on camera, like she just like hates it. It's not like she's like, she just does not like being on camera.
She did it
some
for
reason.
you. That's
Yeah,
sweet.
I know. And even better was they paid her for it, and I gotta give her this credit.
$200, $300.
Yeah, I'll give her
$300?
I'll give her
Yeah.
this credit because
Dang.
I've never even said that. I don't even know if I've ever said this to you.
What?
My mom, because she was like so adamant about like not taking money from me, she got paid for the project and paid me.
That's
the money
sweet.
for
Oh
it.
wow.
She's never.
What you got
never
her
took-
the job?
So your parents
That was her thought, was like,
she
I
never
wouldn't
touched a
have done
dime of the money
And
you
she
made
was like,
acting.
you got me the job, so then she gave
Yeah. So she was like, I wouldn't have done this if it wasn't for you being on the show.
I'm pretty sure I paid for gas for us to get to set. I'm pretty sure we would fill up with gas and I'd be like, yeah, I'm paying for that probably.
For you and your grandma.
Yeah, for me and
You
my
felt
grandma.
like a big dog.
Yeah,
too,
I was
didn't
like,
you?
that's
You're
probably that gas
Grandma,
tank's
I
probably
got
on
it.
me. Yeah.
Gas is
That
Driving to
gas
work
tank's
in our
probably on me.
Camry, I was like, yeah, man, I got you. Don't worry.
Did you guys have like a lump sum of money set aside for when you did turn 18? Was that a thing because of the Coogan account, right?
Yeah, you have
It's
to.
legally required by, I don't know if it's, I think it's California, right? Or is it just SAG or federally? Or something
All I know
like
is that it's like 15%, which is bananas to think that you can work.
I mean, there's kids that make millions and they only get 15%. And
Like,
their
that's
parents will
just
take
bizarre.
like, close to 10 million.
I don't
They'll walk out of it
understand how
with,
they
like,
came up with a law that they
two.
were like, we're going to protect these people, but you can only get 15% of it.
We're gonna
So-
kind of protect you.
Yeah,
That's like an
75% is still
like
going to
almost
go
an
away.
agent's.
Have you guys ever?
Yeah.
Have you guys ever shared what you made like per episode or anything like that?
No, I don't think we've really talked about. We don't really talk about how much we make. I don't even know how much he has. I don't know where he's at right now.
Like money wise?
Money wise, yeah.
It's not good.
Yeah, me neither, man. I drove to Phoenix, man. What do you think?
It's dwindling
Fly
every
here.
day.
I drove.
It's dwindling every day.
I'm watching it go down.
Did you guys like talk to any advisors financially after becoming an adult, or did you have some sort of game plan for what to do with the money that you made when you were a
He had
kid
already
acting?
burnt through all of it,
Yeah,
so there was
yeah,
nothing
no.
to advise.
My
on.
grandma is very frugal, so she like saved my money, taught me how to save money. Definitely, like, still kind of lives rent free in my head, reminding me what to spend money and not spend money on. But yeah, his dad is in business. My grandma's a professor, so like she raised 4 kids and gave them a very good life and education. So she was very helpful for me to not. She was helpful for me to be smart with my money. For
I
sure.
want to meet your grandma.
Dude,
Did she
she's
go
a
to
sweet lady.
Indiana, or is
She's
she
an amazing
still?
lady.
She's in California. I call her Fort Lauderdale. Yep, she still lives.
She
where
came
I
out
grew
here
up.
and was just like, I love this
Yeah,
place.
she likes
this is
it.
my life.
It's pretty
And
sweet.
She stayed.
That's sweet.
Sweet.
She's the best.
Mm-hmm.
She's the sweetest. I've traveled with that woman so many times.
Aww.
Probably more than
your sisters?
Yeah, probably. I mean, I've traveled with her more than I've traveled with anyone in my family. Yeah.
Yeah. My
Does
mom,
she like your girlfriend?
She does. Yes.
Me just getting all the personal.
We go over
They
there
get
for
along.
we go over there for like meals once a week. Yeah.
That's really
We go play
sweet.
board games. My grandpa's there full time now. He used to live back in Indiana and help my mom with her business, and then he moved out here like 5 or 6 years ago, and so now we go over there and
Sweet.
play board games and eat guacamole. You know.
Oh my gosh, that's the kind of stuff
weirdly
that's
specific.
Yeah, she
Why
doesn't make
guacamole?
guacamole. I don't know. Just like a snack. We snack, you know. Not actually guacamole. I would have to make it. She doesn't make a guacamole. But she did a bunch of great stuff for my childhood, just not the guacamole. So
Maybe next
the
question on
wonderful
this
lady
one.
that doesn't make guacamole.
Bradley, I'm gonna be honest. I thought you were a father because I kept seeing your nephew all over your Instagram.
Yes.
And I was like,
Everybody
he's a
thinks,
dad. I was like, holy crap,
Yeah.
he's literally,
Those
he has a
photos do
son
so
just like
well.
me.
Yeah.
And then I saw someone comment like, no, it's actually not his kid, it's his nephew. And I'm like, oh, I'm so dumb.
I know.
So do you get that all the time?
All the time, man. Everybody always thinks that I was my son. I kind of stopped posting photos with him because like,
Stop
was
getting the
tired.
girls.
People- Yeah.
people came up to me bars. They're like, "Hey, how's your kid?" And you're like, "What?" And they're like, "Yeah, why are you out here, man? You got a kid at home."
okay.
And then I'm gonna stop that.
nice,
Sorry.
nice
Yeah.
bit.
It's the Fresca, man. Well, it's getting to me.
He's loosening up now. That's my sister's son. And I now have 3 nieces and 1 nephew. My sister just gave birth to twin girls.
Wow.
So there's a lot of babies around. No, I'm quite excited to be a father, but it's just
Do you have a girlfriend?
no, I don't. No, I'm sorry to
Just me.
disappoint you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I always
he's my
felt weird
girlfriend.
asking that question to people my age until I was married, and so I was like, okay, now it's like not weird.
Yeah. No, I feel you.
You guys are gonna be grandparents in like 30 years. You know.
Isn't that weird?
That's crazy.
No, like maybe
Could be
20
earlier than
years.
that.
Well,
maybe
you're kinda-
earlier than
Because
that.
we had kids
You're
at
like-
20.
I'm already a grandma, like mentally. I'm
Oh,
there.
yes.
I'm ready.
That's why you asked Steve, do you have a girlfriend?
Yeah, that's how I feel.
we had our first at 23 and 24.
so old. I do
So-
not feel 25.
You're just like my parents. My parents got married at 23 and had a kid at 24, and now they have 4 grandkids and they're only 57.
It's crazy that they're grandparents.
Thank you to Liquid IV for sponsoring this portion of today's episode. You guys, there's nothing better than hydration.
And there's nothing better than watching your spouse drink a liquid
I'm
IV
making this for you.
while you sit over by yourself without liquid IV.
Y'all, let's make it together. It's so easy. Just get your water, get your packet. I take these in my little belt bag.
I was going to ask if that was the peach flavor.
This is the peach flavor.
Let's go.
I like this one because it's sugar free. I keep these in my little belt bag when we're traveling or just on the go because they're so easy to just throw around and then have a little extra hydration. And they're delicious. It encourages me to drink water because they taste so yummy. So look.
Your breastfeeding journey is coming to an end, but with breastfeeding, the liquid IV has been great for you with the hydration needs that you have as a
and
breastfeeding
just living in
mom.
the desert, being leading active lifestyles, all this stuff. The electrolytes are amazing. Liquid IV hydrates you
Let's
with
freaking
benefits
go.
like electrolytes, essential vitamins, and clinically tested nutrients. With 3 times the electrolytes of the leading sports drink, plus 8 vitamins and nutrients in a single stick. It's pretty clear why Liquid IV is the #1 powered hydration in America.
You got to stay hydrated, guys. I mean, if you're not hydrating, what are you doing?
We have other flavors too. So some of my favorite non-sugar-free flavors are, I like the strawberry, the watermelon. We recently had pear and that was pretty yummy. The sugar-free flavors that I love personally are the grape, and then the peach is also second best. We're always out of grape because we both fight over it. Like I said, Liquid IV is the #1 powered hydration brand in America with 3 times the electrolytes of the leading sports drink. They have 4 delicious sugar-free flavors as well. White peach, green grape, my favorite, lemon lime, and raspberry melon. I've tried them all and they're all good though. You really cannot go wrong. So fun. Great staple for the summer if you're traveling, if you're going to be outdoors a lot. And kids love to drink them too. If I have a Liquid IV in my water, my toddler will not leave me alone. So turn your ordinary water into extraordinary hydration with Liquid IV. Get 20% off your first order of Liquid IV when you go to liquidiv.com and use code UNPLANNED at checkout. That's 20% off your first order when you shop Better Hydration today using promo code UNPLANNED at liquidiv.com.
Back to the episode.
But it's cool though, and like that's like such a goal though. We've talked about it 1,000 times. I have like the biggest fear of being an old dad. I don't want that. It scares me because I want to I don't know. I just want to when I go to graduation, my kids like high school graduation. I want people to be like, "Oh, that's your dad. That's a good-looking guy. He's still so young and spry."
I'm gonna be doing it at 60. I'm gonna be like, oh my god, your
You're gonna
dad's
be like-
60? Whoa. That guy's, I'm gonna have 30 kids.
That guy looks terrible.
He looks horrible. He's all sun-baked and raisiny.
You got
I wear
time,
sunscreen.
no pressure.
You guys got to wear sunscreen here.
Yeah, dude, it's freaking hot.
It's freaking hot.
Yeah, dude. What's funny? I did a deep dive on you guys before this interview, and there was some really funny stuff that came up on the internet when I was like looking into you guys. Like I saw.
Bad news, you actually do have a kid, buddy. I found it. How was that vacation that one time, huh?
No, there was a story that popped up though. I think you guys talked about this on your podcast, but there was something about back when you were 15 asking Sabrina Carpenter out with like a message in a glass bottle. Can you talk to us about that?
Wow, that's
awesome.
hilarious. Yeah. Sabrina was my first girlfriend. We dated.
That's crazy.
Dated for about two years.
That's a
year and half,
long
2 years.
time as a kid.
That is a
Yeah.
really long time.
Yeah, I think I mean
It was super annoying. We didn't hang out at all. He was always hanging out.
So you guys were best friends, and then you stopped hanging out because you were always
actually
with
we didn't
Sabrina.
like each other at that time.
I don't think that's correct.
He liked you, okay?
So this just
Yeah.
in, I didn't like you.
Jeez.
No, I was filming a show with him on Mighty Med. We were right next door to Girl Meets World, where she was filming, and we met
Okay.
there. It was very much just like a little high school relationship, you know? Dated from like 14 to 16, probably, somewhere around there.
Really young.
Yeah. I remember
Did you start dating the first season of Mighty Men?
maybe the second season.
I think it's the second season. Okay, so you did like me then. You just abandoned me, you know?
Yeah, we had just worked out our relationship, and then
and then you left.
Yeah. How
Yeah.
did
Work on
that
someone
make you
else's.
feel? Him
Sad.
leaving you for
Why
Sabrina.
did I ask in a bottle?
Despaired. What did you?
Dude, that's pretty
Is
romantic.
that for real? I don't even know if
Might be
is that-
clickbait. I don't know.
There was a news article that apparently Sabrina Carpenter in like 2015 talked about how you had asked her out, and it was with a message in a bottle. That's at least what it said. So maybe
Dude, I got game. That's
Wow,
crazy.
that's
I don't
pretty
even-
good.
that was pretty creative.
if I'm honest, I'm certain that is something that my mom was like, she'll find that adorable. You should do
Aw.
it. So then she probably did it, and I probably gave it to her.
Took the credit.
Yeah,
Of course.
But I don't remember. I don't know why that would have happened, but sure, that seems like something that definitely happened.
That's
It is
sweet.
kind of funny because like we dated when we were so young, you know. So it was like it's just like a little high school relationship, you know, when we
Yeah.
were working. It's all
That's kind of that's funny though. Like I feel like you could always flex that to your to your kids.
Yeah, dude.
Like you know the person who's kind of like Taylor Swift. Like yeah,
Yeah.
she was my girlfriend when I was 14.
She's
So
killing the game, dude. She's killing it. So she just performed at Coachella too.
that's crazy.
Yeah, she's killing it.
Did you guys go to Coachella?
No,
Did not. No.
Okay.
no, I was too heartbroken.
Too hard to show up.
I couldn't go there.
Bro, what if you showed up at a concert and we're like, Sabrina,
Remember
like,
me? Nah,
answer
dude.
my DM. No.
No, dude, she's unbelievably talented. She always has been. It's like really cool to see. There's a certain group of people I feel like when we were younger that you always just kind of like saw as like, yeah, they're gonna definitely be the ones that kind of make it big and they're gonna really succeed in this industry. I think we always kind of knew she was.
Yeah,
she's
she was
those
always one of
people.
them. Yeah.
A hardworking person and very, very talented. So definitely deserves everything that's going on for her right now.
That's dope.
So, yeah, and apparently that message in the bottle really
Really did something.
landed on the internet, I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah, seriously. It's funny though how like once you have success in your life, it's crazy how the goalposts always move. Like I think it's so easy maybe for you guys to like, I don't know, look at Sabrina or look at somebody else who was on a show with you who's like gone like crazy and like crazy successful. But I don't know, I think I try to remind myself of, okay, what like I'm a dad and I've got like 2 beautiful boys that are the best. And I don't know like what that is for you. Like maybe that's your nephew, or for Jake, maybe that's your girlfriend. But I think it like puts things in perspective when you're like, I have so much to be thankful for. Like even in this moment, even if, you know, you fail, cause I totally resonate with you talking about failing. Like I failed so much in my life, and it like, when you fail, it sucks.
Yeah.
But just recognizing like, man, I have so much to be thankful for. I don't know. That always like makes me happy at the end of the day.
Absolutely, man. I mean, I'm so thankful for my family and kind of like just in general the way I grew up, and I go to dinner at my parents' house probably twice a week. I live like 25 minutes from them, and my whole family does a big dinner on Sunday. And that's like, it's something that's like just so can be easily tossed aside as like, I gotta go to dinner again on Sunday night. But it's like, I don't know, what's the worst case scenario? You get to go see your family a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
And I just like really appreciate that time with them. And I look at like my sisters, and now they're all married and they're having kids, and it's like, it's so cool to see them doing that, and that's like obviously something that I'm so excited to do, you know. And it's just such an interesting way of living when you work in the film industry, because it's not as simple to just go, all right, well, I'm gonna start working my job and then I'm gonna get married and have kids, because I'm like, well, hang on, I gotta do this all day, and then I might have to leave for 6 months on end to go film over here. And it's like, you kind of really have to establish yourself before you can do that. But I think for both of us, we certainly want to prioritize family as much as you can.
Do you feel like you can't do like this career while also, because you're saying like when you get married and start a family, like you're gonna move away, like do you feel like it's kind of impossible to have like the type of family you want to have while still having this job and this career?
It's not impossible. It's
Definitely possible.
Yeah.
I'd say like
It's certainly hard.
What I was going to say, kind of in response to that, both those questions, is like purpose is kind of the shared human experience. So like for you guys, it's having kids, and like, you know, you have so many people watching you guys for advice and sort of building a life around your family and your kids. And I think people who don't grow up on doing film and TV, who get into it in their like 20s, I mean, it's everything. So it's like their purpose is art, and then, you know, if that works out, great, they keep doing it, they build a family. But some people that we know that are like 30, 35, like, you know, they've just been doing it for so long that it's consuming. Some people can balance both. Some people, like, it's literally just everything for them until they can find the time or a reason to have a family. But I mean, you've grown up around your family. I definitely have valued my family more into my 20s, but it's definitely hard to balance both at times, because you feel like you want to give everything to your work, and if you do that, then, you know, how much time are you gonna be able to give to your family or your kids? But I guess it's that works that way for every profession. It just feels like with the failure aspect, or with like trying and constantly getting rejected and having to pick yourself back up, it's hard to imagine, you know, doing that now when we didn't necessarily have to do that as kids, giving that to our own kids.
Because there's something inherently selfish about it. You know?
Totally, yeah.
Like, you really have to be pretty selfish when it comes to just in general work and being able to do things like, for instance, we're here right now.
You have to be confident that
You know?
people want to
Yeah.
see you on a
Like-
screen. Yeah.
But be like having the ability to just be here right now with you guys and not have to worry about having a kid at home or something like that. Having the freedom to make those choices for your career there's a lot of things that you have to do that's kind of selfish, and it's not the easiest thing, as you guys know, when you have kids. So.
We both liked acting, performing like as kids, so it's pretty possible that one of our kids will like be interested in this in the future. And I'm like now interested as a mom, like doing this as a child, like how did it shape your self-image and like your confidence?
I inflated it. I think
Oh,
that's,
really?
Yeah, definitely.
I think on the contrary.
What?
I really think on the contrary.
Like deflated it?
Yeah. That's
Oh, I felt
the
like-
opposite would be.
Huh?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah,
See,
I
that's
want to
a
hear
different
both
view.
experiences.
Oh, I want to hear about Go
Damn,
ahead.
you thought you were
Wait,
like,
okay,
hot,
Jake,
didn't
Jake,
you?
you first.
You
So
said that everyone told you how amazing you were.
No, but
Seriously?
no. But I mean, like, you mean like self-image and like.
Like now,
Like how you
as a
view
kid?
yourself.
How we view ourselves now, or how
Or
we
both.
viewed ourselves then.
Yeah, but maybe then. Let's start with then. So you're a
Yeah,
kid.
I'd say
you're-
then and now are very different.
I think then, when it came to my acting ability, like, I felt more confident, I guess, because I was constantly being told how good I was, you know, and that was a strange thing. I think from like a physical or social aspect, I guess, I wasn't a confident person at all. I think I was very confused, and I think I went through a time where like I was working on television in an awkward stage, so you know, you would hear comments about that a lot, you know, like being like a chubby 14-year-old or something like that. So like confidence-wise, that aspect of it wasn't really the case. And I said this to you the other day. I didn't even realize that when I was 17, 18 years old that I was like a decent-looking guy. You know, like I didn't know at the time. I didn't have any self-confidence in that sense.
So you were confident in your ability to act, but you weren't necessarily confident in your looks. Is that what you're saying?
Where did those comments come from?
I don't know if it was like necessarily like social media comments or stuff like that, but just kind of knowing in general like where you stand with acting. Again, like you kind of have to accept the idea that you're never going to be like the leading jock in a show, because you're like, well, I'm not going to get that role. They're going to hire this person for that role, and that like I can say that with ease now, but that's a weird thing to have to accept as a kid when you're like, oh, I'm not as attractive or as tall or strong as that guy, so he's going to get it, not me. And that's like, it sounds simple, but it's mentally
No, that's
draining.
tough.
I didn't think about that at all as a kid. I think about that way more now.
See, I don't care now. I really don't care because I know that like there's.
It's not necessarily caring, it's just being aware of it.
I know, but I'm saying like I know the things that I'm good at, where I guess like I was confused by why I wasn't getting certain things at the time.
Okay.
Like now I know that if I'm going out for a comedy or sitcom or something like that, that I can be one of the most experienced person in the room, you know? And I have that confidence. And I know that if I get that audition for the college football player, I'm going to go, no, that's not me.
Yeah.
You know, like that's stupid. But like son on a sitcom, I'm like, yeah, I can go in there and kill that, you know? And I have that confidence now. I didn't get that concept at 17 years old.
That someone might be better for something than you necessarily? Yeah, okay. Yeah.
So what I'm kind of hearing is that the hardest part, like with those comments, was more like not coming from the TV show side of things. It's like from social media attention because of the TV show.
Yeah, I mean, people are ruthless on social media. It's bizarre. You got to shut it off, and like you can't look at it at a certain point. But everybody does. We all say like, don't look at it. But every once in a while, you open the comments, and you're like, oh, okay.
That's so.
That's dumb.
That's
I
just
definitely-
honestly more validating to me. Like,
I totally
about-
disassociate from my like kids, but yeah, it's got to be. I'm sure you guys. Do you read it?
not anymore, and I actually feel so good.
Yeah, my
Yeah,
mental
feels
health.
good.
I feel so great.
Since I stopped reading comments, my mental health is so much better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You say you feel validated. Sorry, I interrupted you.
We
But like,
we try to keep our kids like not online, and so I think that, and a lot of that for me was like because I don't want people commenting and for like about my children.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
like making comments about them or saying like, oh, you shouldn't put your kids online.
No,
'cause
I
see
don't
a lot
care
of that.
about that stuff. It's more like for them. Like I don't want them to be like, I don't know, comment like this. The fact that people are commenting about your weight as a 14-year-old, like,
Oh, yeah.
oh my gosh, that.
yeah.
Yeah, before the podcast, we were about to all eat cookies, and you're like, "I'm not gonna eat that cookie until after the podcast."
Yeah.
because
Do you
you
think it
said
still affects you? Like
you
all
said
that
you'd be
stuff?
sad about it, right?
No, dude. Okay, honestly. So my thing.
You have
with,
to answer for that, Bradley.
Yeah.
for that caramel
You
cookie.
got me. Now I'm not going to eat it on the way home.
No, eat the cookie.
Oh,
I'll
yeah,
eat
you're
one
not
with
gonna
you.
eat it on the way
Let's
home.
all eat cookies when we're done.
Yeah, the internet. I'm not going to do that. No, I mean, like, for me, more so, I've become weird with my. I don't know. It's not weird, but like more cautious of my health over the last like year and a half. I think when I went to college.
More cognizant, maybe.
Sure, you know, but like I went to college and didn't really care about what I was eating, and I was, you know, drinking and just having fun and being in college. And I think everybody puts on weight when they're in college.
Freshman
and
15.
Yeah, I just didn't really pay attention to it or notice it. And then I think I found myself at a point where I was like, oh, I don't want to look like that anymore. So then I started on like going, okay, well, I want to lose some weight and I want to get in good shape. And, you know, spent the last, I guess, like a year and a half really just kind of going crazy about it. But like the thing is, I love food, right? So like
Same.
I am
Yeah.
a foodie. I love cooking. I appreciate food, which is, I think, the worst trait I have in my life. I wish I didn't have that, you know, because like,
It's so fun.
Dude, you look
oh,
great.
oh, thank you. I
Bro, you
appreciate
look great.
that.
What are you talking about?
But like, the urge of like, oh, I want to just devour that thing, you know? It's like you have to deal with that demon inside. But I've gotten to the point now where I'm like, okay, cool. Like I joke around. It's like I'll eat the cookie. I really don't care. But like I'm just more of like now I'm more aware of like, well, I eat healthy 98% of the time.
There's something inside you though that goes like, I want to eat all 12 of those cookies.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't have that.
I was gonna take the glass container one.
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
I ask her not to bake anymore sometimes because she legit would, like, Abby would make 24 cookies. I would eat all 24 in 24 hours.
Yeah,
Oh,
dude.
no.
No, it's like I love. Oh yeah,
Just like,
stuff kills me.
let's have
But then
one.
I started to find love for like my biggest thing is like cooking. I just like cooking because I like to cook my food in the most healthy way possible that I can. And I just from this last week,
You're
'cause
also a good cook. You make good food.
thank you.
Yeah.
But this last week I was in New York and then came to Arizona, and I just like I haven't cooked once this last week, and I feel gross. Like I just don't feel good because every meal
Maybe
that
they
I
should
eat.
stay for dinner.
You guys want some dinner?
Is it
What are you
cookies?
making, Abby?
Yeah. it's those-
Chicken.
But like I just like I like cooking my food. Even chicken confuses me so much. You go to a restaurant and if you just ordered a grilled chicken breast and it comes out here, it's just doused in some oil that they made and it doesn't taste as good.
It's dry.
It's just never as good.
Sucks.
When I cook it at home and I just cook it on my own with nothing in it, it's the healthiest version. It's clean. It's not covered in a vegetable oil.
Juicy.
I feel so much better, you know? And so now I like have that feeling of like, I know that like when I eat that crappy meal, I'm going to feel crappy for a bit after, but it's worth it because it's so good, you know? Like we go to a baseball game, like I'm gonna eat nachos and have a beer. It's not it's just not gonna happen.
I just eat so much processed sugar that I don't feel the difference. So
this guy though has the metabolism of a 13-year-old boy and has since
I was a 13-year-old boy.
I've known him.
Yeah.
If he ate that whole thing of cookies, he would eat dinner a little later and not gain a pound tomorrow.
Yeah, probably.
He just doesn't.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, probably.
That's
Probably,
awesome.
yeah.
And it's so annoying. It's so annoying to watch because you're like, I want that ability, you know? He's just always been.
I also have
This.
severe ADHD, so I forget to eat constantly. I'll forget a meal.
Well, now I look like a jerk.
What? Well, I mean, like,
I think you just kind of vocalize how every wife feels about their husband, though, to be honest. Like, they're like, oh, my husband can literally eat whatever they want.
Abby, you eat as much food as I do. Don't be lying. Don't be lying, babe.
He's like, you're
Oh my
doing
God,
all
no.
right. Don't worry.
Whenever he splits up, I'm like, you took more.
oh, I do that all the time.
Are
When I
you,
split
you
up
guys
with my
big
girlfriend, I take
steak
more.
people?
I
a
love steak,
little-
but we don't really know how
yeah.
to cook it that best, so we have to go to a restaurant.
I will teach you.
We're more
Thank
salmon
you.
people. We make salmon pretty much every
Yes,
week.
I love
so,
salmon.
love
Steak. I eat steak. I mean, I eat some kind of beef probably every other day.
I think I need more red meat in my life, honestly.
Oh, you
Yeah,
can always
maybe.
have more red meat. It's the
Like,
best
you're telling me
thing ever.
that I might be anemic.
It's not the best thing ever. It is good
It's
for
the
you.
best thing ever.
But okay, what is new for you guys? You guys have a podcast now.
Yeah.
Any exciting projects coming up in the works in addition to the podcast?
We would love to give you what they are, but none for me right now.
No, I mean, for us, I mean, the podcast is something that we are really pushing for doing more of. You know,
Nice.
we had started on the podcast journey a while ago, had some difficulties with it, and then restarted and brought it back mostly because we enjoyed
Talking to people.
Yeah, having those conversations, and also just like the reaction that we got to it was awesome. Like it was really so cool. We had a lot of people really excited over the fact that we were doing a podcast together. You know, so just pushing and grinding to get that back out there. And then, yeah, you know, the typical life of an actor, just auditioning and doing stuff like that.
Trying to write, trying to produce whatever comes our way.
Yeah.
Nothing in the works right now, or nothing like being put out there right now, but stuff in the works.
How many no's does it take to get one yes?
I don't know. I'll let you know when I get a yes.
Nah.
No, seriously,
probably
though, like,
not.
do you have to audition like 20 times to?
No,
get
dude,
some-
there's
I
no
think the
like,
better way to
quantifiable
say is
number.
like what's a good ratio. I'd say like 50 no's to 1 yes is pretty good.
You're kidding.
No.
That many? 50 no's
50
to
no's
one
to 1
yes.
It's kind of like on
I'd say
baseball.
like 10 no's to 1 yes is
It's
like
like-
you're doing something right.
Dang.
5 no's to 1 yes is like you're like a fully working actor everyone wants to work with.
You know, like in baseball, like you hit a 300 average, you had an amazing career.
Yeah.
In reality, that's 3 out of 10 hits. You know, it's like if you booked 3 out of 10 jobs, oh my God, your batting average would be unreal.
That's shocking. I would have thought it would have been like you guys saying you get so many no's. I thought it'd be like one yes for every 10 auditions.
No.
I know
But
people
it's-
who work like my girlfriend does. She gets a lot more calls and that she's very talented. But like she'll probably do like one yes for every like 15 no's, maybe 20.
Yeah.
But it's different for everyone. Yeah, and sometimes the seasons are different. Sometimes it's 50, sometimes it's 5, sometimes it's 10.
Yeah.
I did not expect that
yes
at all.
feels so good though. That one yes is just it keeps you coming back. That's the drug.
Like,
Yeah.
remember when we were in acting college and they brought in a guest actor to do a Q&A with us, and they're like, what's dealing with rejection like? Because I know that's like the reality, like this career. And he was like, I just never get no's.
That person was so cocky though, Abby.
He literally
Like,
said that. I was like, I don't know.
Man, that
about-
guy had to get a
And
no
now
on
you're,
his next
now
job.
you're like, who is he?
Yeah, who is
yeah,
he?
nobody knows who this guy is.
As we record from your podcast studio in your
Yeah,
home.
I think in the
your lovely
theater
home.
world, some people might know this person, but yeah, we're not going to roast them. on-
No, oh
we're not
my
going to say
gosh.
their name.
Anyway, he's
Lin-Manuel
probably
Miranda.
known actually, but
I don't know. I mean, people, unless you're like freaking Kristen Chenoweth, like people don't know who you are
I knew
in the
him
Broadway
well before we
world.
went to college.
But like you were a theater kid.
Wait, is he
so,
an
like,
actor, or is he a theater kid?
like a theater, like
Theater
more of a
actor.
Broadway.
Is that how they view it in LA?
Don't say actor, dude. That's an insult.
Well,
Well, yeah,
I
is
guess
that a
Oh, does he
thing?
do like real acting, or is he doing
As our
theater?
TV actor,
Hold up,
theater
is there
actor.
like a difference there between LA and New York? Is one looked at better than the other?
Dude, I think
New York's
theater
looked
seems
at
scary
a lot
to me.
more prestigious. A lot of
Really?
people,
Really?
a lot of people who work on television want to make money in television so they can go work in theater for the rest of their life.
Really?
Yeah,
I would have thought it'd been the opposite. I thought people would
'cause
just want to make
in
more
the theater
money.
side of things, were
there's no
like-
money in theater.
Yeah.
No, there's so much money in television and
I think
movies.
it's just a harder task, and I think when you've like done things in acting on the television side of things, like, if I mess up my words, I get to do it again, and everybody's fine with that.
Yeah.
Whereas like you can't really mess up, and it's seemingly perfect on stage. And obviously they do mess up, and obviously as an audience member, maybe you don't notice it, but that's just as impressive, the fact that they can hide that and
Yeah.
make
yeah.
it, seem like they didn't mess up. So we don't have like, even when we did live audience shows, it's like you mess up, you just do it again anyway. They're
Yeah.
filming, so it's totally different. That's the only like live experience I've ever had.
And a lot of people like grow up in that, and they love it. They love theater. That's where they find their love for acting, and then they want to go right back to it as much as they can.
I would love to do.
I would love to do a Broadway play. Yeah.
Oh, you would?
Oh,
Not
absolutely.
a musical,
Are,
a play.
Are you guys actually doing things to make that happen, or is that just kind of like one day, hopefully that would be cool?
Dude, I think ideally for me, I'd love to be living in New York over the next few years and trying to do it at the very least. It's just always been something that I really wanted to do. I've also always wanted to live in New York, and I think that experience would just be so valuable as a television actor too. Just like to have that experience. But apparently, people struggle oftentimes with like over projecting and coming onto television and being like, they're performing so big and bold.
Oh, yeah, 'cause
and people are like, tame it
camera's
down a
right
notch.
here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude. Like, we're right here, dude. You can settle down. You don't need
Yeah.
to yell into the mic, know?
Yeah.
But like, I would imagine you're so used to having to perform for the person in the last row. Like, that's what they tell you in theater, right?
Yeah.
It's like, perform for the guy in the last row. Like, that would be weird because, we have a microphone right here. I don't have to yell that loud. So it seems like such a different world, different beast.
I always like to end on a fun note. Do you guys have like a funny story or something crazy you've never shared before that would be kind of fun to end on?
We almost killed a stunt guy on set.
What?
That is so funny that's exactly where
That's
you're bringing it.
exact-
I was
right?
just about to say that.
Like actually though, they almost
Yeah, and
died.
then you tackled me. Don't forget about that.
I was going to say that one
That
as
one?
well.
Yeah, here you go. Yeah.
Nice
All right,
job.
leave it there.
We spent too much time together.
Seriously.
Okay, you need to prep. The guy we didn't almost kill him. Like, I mean, basically a stunt went wrong.
I thought he was dead.
It was scary. There was a big timing thing. So when somebody gets thrown through glass, right? It's called candy glass. It's this fake glass that's super brittle, but we have a big logo in the hospital that was too big to do candy glass because it would just break on its own. So they had to do like an electrical charge through the glass.
Explode
so
the glass.
Yeah, so they'll explode it right as the guy's about to hit it, so it looks like the glass broke when he went through it.
Ah, okay.
So somebody gets thrown through the glass, and there was the special effects team, and then everybody else was supposed to. We were all on the same page that like once this goes, it's happening, And I'll never forget this. It was you and I were standing
Dude, I
next to
can
this
still
glass.
hear. I think it was Danny that said hold.
No, it wasn't Danny.
wasn't
It was
Danny?
our lighting guy.
Lighting guy,
Remember?
that's a whole
Because that's what it was. That's what was the worst part about it. Was like it was basically they said like
Danny
if,
was pissed.
if
That's right.
anything happens right before, scream hold, and the special effects will not blow this glass, and then the stunt guy will not go. We do action. We start to go. I don't really know how this one was miscommunicated. The stunt guy had to wear headphones, like earplugs, because the glass, when it would blow, he couldn't get glass in his ear and he couldn't hear the explosion. Like it would be too loud. So they call action and they give him the signal to go. And then somebody yells hold right before he goes. So he has to like jump into this glass window, and the special effects team is supposed to blow it at the same time. Special effects team heard hold,
Oh, no.
so they didn't go.
Wait, what did he say? He didn't say hold?
He said no. He said
Oh,
like
the special
they said
effects team
hold.
heard-
Special effects team
heard
heard
it, yes.
hold, so they didn't blow it.
Stunt guy didn't hear hold.
Stunt guy couldn't hear it. Jumped into the glass, like head first into it. It didn't blow, and then like fell.
Did it knock him out? I can't remember.
I don't want to say because I don't want to be wrong about it.
Yeah, I can't remember if it knocked him
You
out
watched
or
it. You
There's-
both watched
But
it
he,
happen.
yeah,
I
when he
have a-
got up, he
I have
was
a video of
disoriented.
it.
Either way, huh?
I'll show you guys the video later.
Oh, I forgot that
You have a video
that.
of this?
Oh yeah.
He reminded me of it like 2 years ago too, and I was like, "Oh my god, I forgot we did that this summer."
And it was by no means like it was not like somebody's fault. Like really,
No.
it was just like it wasn't
It's
like
a typical thing on set to say like hold before a stunt. He just couldn't hear.
Yeah, and that was the only miscommunication. And it wasn't like anybody on that
committed.
set did anything wrong. It wasn't like anyone at the network did anything wrong. It was just an unfortunate thing that happened. There was a
And then people were upset because they felt bad for him. They felt bad that like someone could have been hurt. But,
yeah.
I mean,
they felt bad
he's
for
a stunt
the stunt guy.
so
They felt bad for the lighting guy. They felt bad for special. Like everybody was like, this was just the most unfortunate thing.
Did he go to the
happen.
hospital after that?
Yeah,
what?
yeah. He did.
No, he did the stunt after that.
Yeah, and then he went to the hospital after that.
No way.
Yeah.
He did really?
Yeah, because they were just
Show
worried.
must go on.
Oh yeah, okay. So it wasn't like but he was super disoriented. Like it looked like he had a
Those stunt
concussion or
guys
something.
go through crazy
Crazy stuff.
Well,
dude.
somebody died on the set of The Walking Dead a couple years ago
Yeah,
while they
yeah.
were filming in Atlanta.
Yep.
Yeah. We had a guy on Good Luck Charlie. There was a bit in the first episode where Bob falls down the stairs holding the baby, and he like falls down each step, and then catches the baby at the bottom of the stairs. And the stunt guy who had to do the bit like would go down each step, and he had a big pad on his back. But I guess it like it really messed up his back, like because
Shoot.
he hit every step on
Like
the long
permanently?
way. Yeah. I don't want to make anybody like sound.
Okay,
I'm
well,
like,
and on a
I'm
happier
scared.
note, Bradley tackled me. One of our first week, it was our press week, like a few weeks into shooting. He tackled me because I made a joke about someone he had a crush on from his childhood. So he tackled me on camera. Everyone was there. There was like a line of press outlets.
Was this pre Sabrina or post Sabrina?
This
Pre
was
Sabrina.
yeah, no, dude. What happened was you liked a girl. This is how young we were and stupid. You liked a girl, and then I met that girl and started talking to that
That's
girl.
not-
Hang on. And so then we got mad about that, and you were mad at me. So then you made a joke or made a comment about that girl that I liked.
No. Oh, the other girl that you like.
Yes.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You made the comment about her, and then I was pissed at you. So I
I
tackled
Mad
think
at
about
me.
the adults in the situation, like, boys, please.
Well, they
Literally.
thought that we were just like goofing around.
Oh,
They were like,
actually,
"Oh."
Oh, they're just messing around on set. They have so much fun. But I was mad at him.
Yeah, that's
So
why
I
he didn't
tackled
like
him.
me.
Yeah.
That's why you did that the first season. Yeah, real douche move, by the way. But that's okay. We've worked through it.
It also makes me sound like I have anger issues that I tackled you in front of press.
You were a kid.
I was.
I mean, I
14.
just told you this morning that I didn't support you for the golf round, so I mean, it's fine. I still have things I'm working through.
Well, definitely check out Bradley and Jake on their podcast.
Yeah.
Where else can people find you guys? You're on YouTube with your podcast.
Yeah,
Tell us all about that.
YouTube, it's called The Sit and Chat. It's pretty straightforward. It's a podcast. We sit and chat,
Yeah.
and we're on Instagram. We're on TikTok, everywhere.
Yeah, YouTube.
We're on our own socials. Go follow us if you like, nonsensical content.
No, I don't think
Random.
they do.
No,
I think
it's
they-
okay.
God, these guys were tough to watch.
No, stay here. Stick it here. I like this podcast.
If you want to hear these
like
guys
Unplanned.
cuss, go listen to their
Yeah.
Dude, the difference in the two podcasts that you guys will get is crazy.
Oh,
No,
my
honestly, we did good.
Huh?
It's the same conversation. We
Yeah,
just
we
need.
just talk
We've
with-
talked about this 1,000 times. We need to be better. Like we swear.
Well, thank you guys. This was super fun. Go
Thank you.
follow them on all their social medias, and we appreciate you guys being here.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank
you guys.
I watched the
Thanks for watching.
podcast last week, by the way. I'm a big fan.
He's
so.
a big fan.
Big
Hey,
fan.
yeah.